Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 546. Man, do I have a super special guest for you this evening. I have been looking forward to talking with this man for quite some time. Mr. Duke Diamond, how you doing, my friend? You want to tell us how you're doing and where they can find you?
Oh man, I'm doing spiffy, man. Drove 3 hours earlier today to whip my dick out in front of a fucking halfway house guy and fill up a couple piss and then drive 3 hours back. But doing pretty good now. um the real Duke Diamond on Instagram. We got a website coming up soon, but I'll have it posted up on there. But for now, yeah, everybody can go to the real Duke Diamond on the Instagram, and that's where you'll find me. Till then,
Real. I appreciate the fact that you put the real Duke Diamond on there, because you are honestly, in my opinion, one of the realest fucking people in the cannabis industry. It's just sad that you actually have to put it in the name, but very true in my opinion. Initially, seeing you speak for the first time on Sub Cool had you on his little program that he did. I'm of course a big time weed nerd, and I happened to catch you talking with him, and I couldn't help but like think, man, this is one cool motherfucker. He is about as real can get, and I've appreciated that about you ever since that day. Uh, so uh, this is huge. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to hang out tonight, my friend.
oh man, thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, I used to like going on his show and everything back then, but that's the only way I know to be. It doesn't always float over well with everybody, but that's all I can do is just be me, and people don't like it. Fuck them.
Oh yeah. Well, so this is our opportunity to get to know you a little bit better than we normally do. I usually ask everybody, when did cannabis come into your life? When was that first time cannabis entered your life? If you don't mind sharing, if you could share, my friend.
Well, I was 12 years old, and yeah, a friend hooked me up with some bud, and I can played the flame to it. And I want to say, I think it was his older brother that had it, and I think he might have grown it even. But man, fuck, dude, I was fucking wasted off that shit too. It was like that. What was that movie, Half Baked or whatever? He's like, yeah, some people say they didn't get high the first time. Not me. Yeah, me neither. Fucking, it was fucking wasted. I couldn't even feel my neck. Fucking head bobbling around and shit. And yeah, it was pretty much all squared away from there. Knew what I needed to do.
Right on. So it just took off from there. Do you remember what you were smoking on? And was it the time period where you could actually put a name with the strain?
We had during those days there was a lot of NL skunk, Afghani, and kind of a little after that we started getting into the white stuff like White Widow, White Rhino. Those are real good ones too. But those early days it was the NL skunks and and then of course the old fucking brickweed. There's always that shit around too. So you smoking with friends, and I fuck if I know what the hell it was, but it's crazy. Some of that shit was like really, it was crazy good. It was just a little seeded and smashed in a trash compactor. You know what I mean? But some of that shit was actually pretty fucking potent.
So how did you progress with with cannabis there? I mean, when did actually the growing part of it come into play? I mean, that's a big part of it. When did that come into your life? When and
The
why, I
growing,
guess.
yeah, well, the growing part came, well, one out of, I guess you could call it necessity. It's like, weed's not, especially back then, it wasn't always just like right there, you know? So like I know you're like in my age group, so you remember like, yeah, guys like, oh yeah, my boy's coming by, bring a bag, pagers going off, everything else, and fucking 2 weeks later, hey man, he's still waiting on that same fucking bag. Um, so availability to not wanting to pay for it, and three, knowing like, you know, growing it yourself and like having it, you know, right there is going to be a better quality too. So with all those things, plus kind of growing up in like the rural part of Virginia, not super rural, but country enough. Um, doing working on farms and shit like that. It was like, yeah, it just kind of made sense, So yeah, we just kind of decided like, yeah, I need to start growing some weed. So end up popping some seeds and my fucking cousins, like my parents had me like really, really late in life. Like my dad was in his mid 50s when I was born. So like so all my first cousins, they're already in their like pushing 30 or over 30 years old. And they were all growing and everything, shining, everything else. And they saw where I'd sprouted seeds and everything. They weren't very tall. They're like, oh man, what you're gonna get in a lot of trouble, kid. You don't know what you're doing. So they just kind of figured like, well, you kind of made your own choice and nobody like really pushed you into it. We're gonna kind of take you under our wing here and make sure you don't get in a bunch of trouble and bullshit. So yeah, and then kind of went from there, and that's where the learning experiences really began.
That's pretty awesome that to have some family take you under the wing and teach you the ropes like that. So sounds like pretty much outdoors to start.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, like we could start seeds inside under like some old, like T12 fluorescents. That was about as indoor as it got, just getting some shit started to move outside. So yeah, it was all outdoor beginnings, like deep in the woods, you know.
I can appreciate that. I think that's for pre-medical growers, I think hustle was the main reason that got most of us started. For me myself, it was the same thing. I just kind of got tired of paying for it. It just seemed like the thing to do. So
Yeah, man.
uh gotta appreciate that. So how did how did you did progress from there? How many years outdoors did you end up taking it indoors at any time soon?
Yeah, the indoor thing started to come. I reckon about, this is like 5 years later. And like I never stopped doing the outdoor, but I knew like I wanted to start doing it inside, because I was like, well, it's gonna be easier, because part of growing in Virginia in those days, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like put these in my backyard, and you weren't even gonna be like, well, I'll walk 100 yards back in the woods. Like you had to go fucking deep, man, because you had the pigs looking for you, the game wardens were on your shit, feds would fucking looking around for shit. So you had to go really far back. So at the point where you're like, wow, man, like I'm really, really getting tired here. Like I'm sweating, fucking ticks all over me, mosquitoes eating my ass alive, snakes and everything else. Like I think we've gone far enough. That's when you know you need to go like a little bit further. So you got to kind of get to the point where they don't, all the fucking briars and shit like that. So and then find a spot that's going to be like, conducive to growing, of course too. So yeah, it was a pain in the ass, totally worth it. But that's what kind of got me geared me and like, man, sure would be a whole lot easier if I could do this inside.
Right on. So Andy, did any trouble back then? You had any confrontations with the law or anything back then? I know I've been pretty lucky myself. Uh,
Yeah.
God, growing, but not everybody is that lucky.
Yeah, on our outdoor, I never had an issue. Um, so yeah, like that was good. We really went way out of our way to uh to make sure everything was really camoed in, and I mean we were like the utmost careful. So yeah, luckily nothing happened with that. Um, February 2007, however, I get raided by the DEA. Is my good bestest of friends. Which wasn't at all. A guy I'd known a long time. He had like a drinking problem and shit. He had like an everything problem. He wasn't always like that, but the crazier and crazier he got, um, the more I was like, man, we I don't know, man. I need to kind of distance myself. So and I mean, he was just on some fucking psychopath shit. So I don't see him for a while, and then he just kind of pops up one day. He acted like he was like he's kind of straightened up. I was like, all right, cool. And he wanted a little bit of weed. I was like, yeah, of course, and he's like trying to buy it. And I was like, no, just take it. I've never charged him for weed ever. And he's just so insistent on giving me fucking money for it. And I was like getting to the point where like, I was gonna like put him in a chokehold, wrestle him down and be like, piece of shit, fucking stop, I'm not fucking taking your money. So he fucks off, he leaves. And like I said, he seemed like he was doing good for himself. What I didn't know is about, I guess, 2-3 months prior to that, he was driving his SS Impala, fucking hammered, fucking drunk, runs off the fucking road in like this super rich part of Richmond, Virginia, and his fucking car plows through the fucking wall of one of these mansions. So there he is in the living room of these fucking yuppies trying to fucking drink their fucking wine and their fireplace and shit. And his dumb drunk ass is passed out in his car in their living room. So of course they call the cops. He's got he ain't got no shirt on. He's just wearing one of those over the shoulder fucking holsters, where it holds the pistol where your rib cages is. He's got a pistol strapped on his left side and his right side. No serial numbers on him. He's got a pistol under the seat of his car with a silencer on it. No numbers on that shit either. In the trunk, he's got some fucking fish scale cocaine. I want to say I don't remember how much, but I know he had some fucking heroin in there too. I remember he had like quite a bit of blow, and he had a fully automatic machine gun and a silencer for that as well. So needless to say, when the cops get there, they he got their attention. It wasn't like some little deal. You know what I mean? So I guess feds had gotten involved in it fairly quickly. Just the machine guns and shit alone, and you got all the drugs with it and shit. So at that point, I'm just a quick calculation on all that. Shit, man. I don't know, probably phew, basically life, even if they don't say the word life, is enough years, might as well be. So he starts ratting on everybody he ever knew, and including his best friend for growing weed. So he told he told him I had that whole fucking bunch of money and shit buried in my backyard. Um, he said I had some fucking rocket launchers, I think, too. Whole bunch of other shit too. I was just really, really made me out to seem like Osama bin Laden met Pablo Escobar or something. But anyway, yeah, that's what led up to that DEA fucking raid then, and he didn't do a day. He got to walk on all his shit because he fucking turned over everybody.
It's fucked. It's
Oh
fucked.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So sorry to hear that, my friend. That's
Ah,
a shitty way.
yeah. Yeah, it's a shitty way to be, but um, you know, and we were always like super careful, really paranoid people anyway. Um, but he was one of us, you know what I mean? So to me it wasn't like an outsider knowing shit, you know what I mean? Um, so cuz like he was doing the same shit, everything. So um, just is what it is. It happened to anybody, man. So old timer, old fucking Irish mobster. He had a great fucking saying he used to tell us. He's like, everybody is your fucking friend or your fucking boy until, right? And until is a hell of a word, and until can mean a lot to different people. And it's like, until what? Until they're in fucking trouble? Until what? They're looking at life? Until they're looking at 50 years, 20 years? Until they're looking at a year? Who knows? It depends what they're going to be able to do. Um, or until they're jealous, right? Or until they're upset about something. What is until going to mean to the next guy? That always kind of resonated with me. So, and I guess his until was until he was looking at going to that fucking penitentiary, and he wasn't trying to have that. So instead he had to turn into a shitbag.
Yeah, that sucks. I've found the intils. There is a lot of intils. I've never really thought about it like that. For the most part, the intils are when the drugs are gone. The friends that were there when you're no longer hustling or
Right.
keeping everybody happy.
Yeah.
People seem to dwindle very quickly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fair
as far
weather
as
friends.
boys like that, boys seem to stick around until money. Once the money comes into the picture, then sometimes it seems like jealousy comes into place. One's getting more than the other,
Oh
and
yeah.
it secretly drives a wedge.
Yeah. Yeah. It sure does, man. That's the thing is, whew, you know, and and that right there, just that right there, like I said, that jealousy shit. Nowadays, people at each other just out of the jealousy. They ain't even in fucking trouble. But that jealousy minimum, it sparks something up in them. They want to see you fail, and if they end up in some shit, well, guess who's on the top of the fucking list? So just got to you know got to be real careful. Well, you had to be real careful, I guess, nowadays, unless you're in one of the spots where it ain't cool anymore, or it isn't cool yet, or legal. You gotta be careful and be real fucking careful.
Yeah, I guess you said it. You kind of said it too. Everybody wants to see you succeed until you do better than them.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fucking fact, man. That is a fucking fact. That's when you know you got some real good people that no matter how good you're doing, they're still behind you, 100%, and still pushing you forward.
So, kind of backtracking a little bit, uh, when did the breeding aspect come into it all? When did you decide that, this is fun and dandy, but I need to take this in another direction?
Hmm. Well, back then it was quite the expedition to get your seeds. You had to you had to send in the list to one of the catalogs uh, over in Holland or whatever. They had to get the money order, and then they would fulfill it, and then they're sending it back through a fucking border and it's got to make it back to you. So um it was a lot of work. Like I said, we were sketchy people, so um we'd use somebody else's car, um maybe even have a big fucking license plate with some magnets on it and shit, park across the street, walk over. um I'm sorry, buddy. Wife is really shitting on me here, leaving doors at dogs running in. um you would have to go through a lot of steps, just in case something does kind of go wrong and the man starts looking at you. So um it's a lot of work. So um it would behoove one to, once you got what you got, start, making more. So you got next year's stock as well as, years to come. So the cousins, they were already kind of hip to that anyway. So the first year I was growing with them was also a year. It was like, yeah, we need to make some more seeds. So that way we're good for a while, because they weren't talking about growing like, a handful of seeds. They were fucking getting it. They were getting it pretty fucking heavy. So so yeah, it kind of started there. Um, just like farming in general, you gotta have good seed. You gotta have good seed, and you gotta have seed. So it kind of got instilled right off the jump, as far as that went.
At that point, what genetics were you working with?
Well, and the NL skunk, some Ganny, um, and hybrids of the two. Standard skunk one. Um, that was pretty much the go-to for our region, like as far as like what's gonna actually do well outside and produce. They did the hash plant and everything as well. So um, those are kind of like the go-to staples. It it grew well, it produced. You didn't end up with a whole lot of problems and everything, and it was just you could count on that shit, you know.
When did you see the excuse me uh, that there was a market for seed, that you could be helping out some fellow growers and you know make a buck of it?
Well, the business part of it came way later. Um, the helping out with other friends that were growing, and those friends kind of became more friends when discovered like internet. So internet forums back then. You had the old BCGA, which was Vic High's deal. Um, and you had Overgrow. So between those two things, there was another little spot called True Stoners. It was never like a real big thing. They had a little chat room and everything. That's some real cool people there. But that's when we got in. Well, that's when I got into like trading seeds and hooking people up and shit like that. As far as outside of my like, my immediate circle back then. Um, as far as like doing it like on like the scale, um, to where it's like, hey, I'm gonna make a pack of seeds and like actually, sell these things. That came way later. Um, and I guess what really got me going, it wasn't the money. It was just looking at the people that were making the money and what they were making the money on. Seeing what was like being offered and what people got, um, and just kind of being pissed off for real. I mean, just being like, holy fuck, this is some fucking bullshit. Like, what in the fucking fuck? So that kind of really, got me like, I can do some good stuff and not bottleneck the whole gene pool in one way or another. I saw a lot of that going on. Um, offer something different, that was another thing, and that's what kind of got me heading in that direction. And I was getting ready to do my thing, and that's when Subcool actually hit me up out of the blue and was like, "Oh yeah, it's Soul from Grimm's back and needed somebody to help him out." And then I ended up working with him, which ended up just be, just me doing a lot of work, and did that for a little while. And I couldn't keep doing that deal. So I was like, yeah, I'll just go back to the original idea and just start something up cool for me, and yeah, just go from there.
So what is your opinion of current breeding situation today? Uh, what's your thoughts on what's going on with cannabis today?
It's it's literally, to me, it's kind of like the exact same shit. You got a, a decent amount of guys that are actually like, they got passion. They're real passionate about what they do. They do a good job. Um, you got that, and then you just got to see a whole sea of fly by night, whatever you want to call them. Just chucking whatever hype across the hype, chuck it, fuck it. Don't test it, just fuck it. Sling it out there, get the money, and when you look around next year, you won't see them. They're going to be non-existent. They got their money, they made their lick, and then they're out. So it's well, it hasn't always been like that, but um, shit, before I went away, it was definitely like that, and it had been like that for for some time, but it seemed like, I guess about 2015 is when I noticed it was like people were just coming out the woodwork, with all types of ridiculous shit, and they would just be there and boom, they'd be gone, you know?
Yeah, it's really disheartening someone to pop up so-called breeders. Uh, it's really gonna just muddy up the water and mess up a lot of people's gardens, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, it's really sad. Uh,
Yeah, that's always been
I'm,
my
I'm
thing. Is like it's really fucked up to like one, yeah, you took somebody's money and that's fucked up, but infinitely worse than wasting somebody's money. You wasted somebody's time, like a hot minute. You know what I mean? Like however long they had invested into that grow, um, you know, you fucked them out of that, and that's probably the saddest part. And if they were doing it in a in an illegal environment, they were putting their fucking ass on the line, for that shit too. So to me, like, yeah, that's all types of fucked up.
For me, I've always been a huge advocate for what a seed costs. I've been on both sides of it. I actually repped for Subcool for quite a few years. I bought seeds. I bitched about the price of seeds at one point. But after I started repping this up and talking with him quite a bit, I started really realizing the work that went into uh, creating a new strain, and then hoping, you know what I mean?
Right.
Hoping that it's going to be something that takes off, everybody likes. And then trying to market the strain to where, it gets out there to where other people fucking know it. Well, that's a huge amount of time for testing and everything else. And like you said, a lot of these guys today aren't testing shit. They're accidental breeders, and then asking for the same amount of retail price that somebody like yourself would put it forth. I don't think that's
Or more
fair.
even.
I've
Yeah.
kind of been calling since I've been doing this for like packs that at least, tell us where they're at in the strain. Are these F1s, F2s, you know what I mean? How long have you been working this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like it's really weird because like some guys that were just gonna chuck hype to hype in a tent, ask $300 or 400, like these crazy prices for a pack. Um, and then you got a guy that's and this is a totally weird thing, but a guy that'll pay, 400 or 500 bucks for this hype chucked together in a tent, not fucking tested, and here, take my money. But then like he'll go to the next guy and be like, oh, I don't know, like, and like really pick your shit apart. And you got this $100 pack. Guy just paid $500 for fucking 10 seeds. You're asking $100 for 13 seeds. Where you got, a couple years, maybe even more, maybe you got a couple years just under the mail that you did before you even made the F1 with it, and then running it through the ringer and testing. So let's say you got 3 years into something, all the overhead, like actually having a warehouse, not a tent, but like a big ass fucking warehouse, and you're actually doing the work. Um, and like how they would come at you versus just it just, I don't know, blew my fucking mind. But um and some people I would see like, oh man, I'll just give seeds away. I'm like, yeah, fucking great. If you're gonna fucking chuck shit together in your closet like you got no money in it and that's what you want to do, knock your fucking self out. But if you really want to fucking put the work into it and you're willing to fucking put years into it and pay $3,000 or $5,000 a month on these warehouse and $1,500 a month power bill and everything else, and you want to piss the money out there like that and just give it away, hey, fucking do it. But no, nobody gonna fucking do it like that. So when at the end of it, when I had like $100 pack of seeds and it's all said and done, I actually calculated it out after all the overhead, after everything was said and done. And I looked at it and I was like, all right, let me calculate what my time is worth. It's like, anywhere from like $10 to $12 an hour. Yeah, I used to make $500+ an hour as an instrumentation and electrical technician. So like, um, it wasn't necessarily, that about the money. It's not saying that you can't like really go super, super hard and maybe make it a little bit better. But at the end of the day, it wasn't all, just about the money. It was stuff that I wanted to see done, something that I wanted to do. And just kind of did it out of that first and foremost. Um, as more work came on, um, using that, using that facility. If I could get, a few projects out during a year, hey man, maybe I might have got myself up to the closer to a $30 an hour range. But this whole like, oh yeah, you must have been like a fucking millionaire or something like that. That's hilarious.
So, when, in your opinion, when should a strain be released? At what phase should a strain be released? We were talking about this a little bit the other night, and surprisingly, I did a poll during the show. Uh, what would you prefer to buy? You know what I mean? That's what I asked. F1s, F2s, you want F4s, IBLs. Uh, what do you want? And F1s across the board, 54%. Fucking, that's what they wanted.
Yeah,
And
people
that
like to hunt.
surprised me. That really surprised me because the question was basically, uh, how much you pay or what do you want when you pull the money out of your pocket? And my response to that was I want something along the lines of like an F4. I want exactly what the breeder, you know what I mean? I want what he's seen. I want his vision, what he wanted, this is what I want. This is what I want to be remembered by. I don't want to necessarily do the hunt. I want the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was my answer to that.
Yeah. And I think um because like I've had that talk in the past too. It just depends one on the end user, like what are they looking to do? But on my end, um where I'm looking to say, okay, I'm good with it right here is when I can say like the goal I had in mind has been met, you know. Now in the case of name whatever clone only that you're talking about, or maybe it's just something that I worked on and it was a phenotype in a F1. We got out something you might have smoked and be like, yeah, I want exactly that. In that case, yeah, making an IBL or at minimum, you know, I don't know, an F4 and F5, putting some extra work in there to really, really tighten up that selection for you. Um, yeah, that of course that's what you want. And that's what I want too, because if I'm gonna say, yeah, here's something, this one phenotype that I really needed to work. When you pop that pack, I want to make sure like not only are you gonna find it, I want you to have a few that you should that you should really have to pick between, where it's very, very, very little little differences. So yeah, so to hit that goal though, it's gonna take some work. Um if you're talking like a particular terpene profile where we're just like varying um a little bit in the structural side of things, um, if you can pull it off in an F1, and you've hit that goal, um, I say, yeah, you're good. So like if you've met the goal for yourself, and furthermore, if you're honest with the people who are going to be growing these things, long as they know what they're in for. So if they know they're in for this, about five phenos, and like be honest, like it's five. You got, say in an F1 generation, you got one that leans toward, dad side of things, one that's leaning toward mom side of things. And then you got three that are a mix of the two, but one leans a little heavier on one side, one leans a little heavier on the other, and one's more of a dead middle mix. Some people would say three phenotypes, but you can really break it down and say, for real, it's about five. But if people know that they're able to, kind of pick and choose, like you said, some people, well, like you're just saying out of your audience there, 50-something% say, yeah, they're down for the hunt. And I think a lot of that too is like people like to have their own unique thing. They like to have, because at the end of the day, we all got our own likes, our own dislikes, and what might be really cool for me, you might not dig it at all. So people they like that too. Same like when people offer the F2s, like I know people always, oh man, fuck, it's some fucking cash grab or whatever. Yeah, but like if you're honest with it, it's like here's the F2 generation. You're gonna see every color under the rainbow in these F2s. And that, man, that's something that people really, really go after. There's a whole crowd of people that really, really would like to, have access to that. A lot of guys I know that are in the breeding game, they won't let those F2s out for shit. They're not, nobody's gonna see those. So there's people that seek the F2s out a lot, or they get the F1 and they make their own F2s, and then they really hunt it out from there. So yeah, I think just what the end goal is for like you as a consumer. If me and you want that thing that it's unobtainium as far as a clone, but we can get a seed line that's been worked on that clone to say F4, F5, maybe cubed, back crossed, and then work to F5 on one side and recombined. We stand a pretty good chance of nailing it dead on the money. We'll be after that. But on the same note, I might say, yeah, let's live adventurously on these other ones here. But once again, time and the work, the price is going to reflect that as well. So shit, man, people don't even realize like back in the day, some of the stuff out of the old Cincy catalog and the seed bank shit, it costs as much as the packs do now. That's in fucking late 80s and the 90s and shit. So the work and all that shit, it should definitely reflect, in the price of it as well.
I think the price though back then until today was fucking 100% risk. And
Yo, yeah.
I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I'm that type of person too. I don't, I'm very on the record of saying is I hate having, what everybody else has. I don't want that fucking hype. I do want something different. But as somebody like say in a different way, I'm not a breeder, but I do construction. I build things, you know what I mean? It's I want my when I build something, I want it to be, stand for its merit. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want that sway. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. That's the bummer about that. Uh, I look for things in the new. You know what I mean? Not necessarily in the variants. Because it's just it's, I'm weird like that.
Yo, yeah.
So, what have been some of your favorites that you've worked with so far?
Well, like as far as like my own projects or like genetics uh in those projects.
Well, we got time, either or, both.
Right on. Well, um there's so many. One of my favorite, um like along the lines of like fruity stuff, the sangria punch. That one, I really fucking like. Like I'm looking forward. Like I got some like squirreled away in the stash here. I'm growing some of that the second I'm fucking able to. This fucking monitor off my fucking leg. But I mean, dead on the money. Sangria fucking punch. Like on the nose. Tastes like it smells. Big fat resin glands on it that it washes fucking amazing. Terps don't they don't get all fucked up by the water. So it just makes great bubble, makes great sieve. Fucking rosin's amazing. Um, and got a hell of fucking punch too. Play on words, I guess, too. Sangria punch. But that one out of all my anything that I made on the fruity side of things, that was my one right there. The Screaming Eagle, the Old Lone Stars Killer Queen cut. Shoo, man, that was fucking gnarly. And that was the Killer Queen. That was a Vic High's deal back in the day. It was the Airborne G13 to the Sunday 99, and his keeper clone. Shoo, man, it was fucking awesome. So being able to work with that, because like that was one of my favorite like actual like day-to-day smokes too, so I really like that one. It had like that Hawaiian punch and fucking gunpowder terps. Like it was fucking gnarly, super potent too. So I really was digging that one. And then Screaming Eagle was something that I made separately, but it had the Airborne G13 in there as well. But it was the 88 G13 hash plant with an Afghani for the male, and that hit the Airborne G13 to make the Screaming Eagle. So it kind of, it was kind of like a no-brainer, just genetically speaking. It's like given the lineage, all these different gene pairs and stuff are kind of going to sync up. You know what I mean? So said, all right, let's give it a shot, and see what happens. And it happened, man. So I really, really, really like that one. That one debuted at 2018? Yeah, 2018 Emerald Cup. Had the jars of rosin out and the jars of bud, and people were like, "Holy fuck, that's actually sangria punch! What the fuck?" So yeah, that I really dig that one too. Um, hmm. Let me see here. Screaming Eagle, and you know what? You got the eagle. Yeah, when I'm gonna be getting back to work on that. Like before I went away, the idea was I was trying to get that to F3 before I got that one back out there. So just making more F1s, And it goes back to the thing is like there's a phenotype that I really, really like. It popped up plenty, amongst the just the F1s, but I wanted to lock that down. So in the F3s, and I also wanted to fix some of the stretch that was in that one phenotype too. So anyhow, Screaming Eagle, just all around that was a fucking awesome one too. Especially like just for the effect of it, because I needed like some anti anxiety, PTSD meds for myself and my friends and shit. And that worked out good. And gave a shit ton of that out to other veterans and everything. And that was another real cool project that yeah, I really like that one. Just on so many different levels. Um there was my local H clone that went on to do the local skunk. Um that was a fucking nasty one right there. Um really was really proud of that one too. Um there was another one I did called the Hoodoo. That one turned out fucking outstanding. That was with the Crossroad Kim from Skunk VA, and then hitting that up with the Dominion. So that one, shoo, yeah, that was a fucking knockout too. The Dominion G, that was another one that was up there just in the punk department. Like I said, there's been a whole lot of them, but those ones always really come to mind. Because like as I kept going, it was like instead of just getting complacent in one area and just like leaving something be. It was like constantly trying to move forward, and make things better. You know, it's a never ending process. Always trying to one up yourself. Keep raising the bar.
That's awesome. They're asking, can you talk about a little bit more about the local skunk there? Uh, where does number 6 fall into that? The skunk line. Was was that the cut for your skunk was the number 6, if I understand that correct?
Are they talking about like skunk six, like the mass super skunk six line from old boy back in the day? Yeah, it wasn't that line that was worked into. Um, so the local H side of it was old. As you well said, you were around Subby a bit. I'm sure you heard him talk about the cuttlefish hash plant from back in the day. That real skunky, nasty. Yeah. So we had that, and I had testers from the Res Dog dude way back in the day when he very first did his sour diesel IBL, the East Coast sour diesel IBL, and used a male from that, hit the cuttlefish, and grew some of those out. And that shit was fucking gnarly. And then we hit the original diesel clone with that, a male from that, and that's where the local H came out of that. Um, Super, like I explained it, it's real like sour, but it had like it had that skunky funk from that cuttlefish, um, with the sour and everything. It was real unique, and it had that good property where on the exhale it just coats your mouth, and it stays there for like a hot minute, and just super potent, not finicky at all. It could just take a beating and just grow right through anything, yielded fat, just all around great. Um, so using that as the clone in the local skunk project was yeah, fucking, whew, it turned out real fucking good, because what happened was you ended up with local H plants with even stronger branching, less stretch, um, like heavier yields, and just like you get those just sour fucking gas, with the skunk funk all mixed into one, super potent. Not finicky plants at all, So you had some that stayed on like the thicker, not like rock hard bud, you know what I mean, but on the thicker, heavier end, and then others that had more of the spear, um, more like more along the line of like a sour diesel type bud structure, where it dries up like a stale marshmallow, versus like a thicker, like a hash plant ganny type flathead round head top bud structure. So you kind of got a little bit of both, So some of them lean more toward the chemical oil rag nastiness, and then the other ones, like the spear ones, typically were the real sour skunky chemical funk. They were fucking great.
So everybody wants the skunk, 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 skunk. Everybody to this day you hear what happened to skunk. Uh, do you still have the skunk? Is the skunk still available through you? And how close would you say your skunk was to the skunk everybody reminisces about?
Well, we had like some clones and stuff. Um, there was a particular one from Virginia, and it wasn't the number 6 or any of that. From Nelson County. That was about as skunky as it got, but like honestly, when I started doing the work, I had brought some to Emerald Cup, and people flip out about it. And yeah, of course, people flip out about it because people want that. But I really, I really got to see like some really shady shit and just some real. I mean, it just really bummed me out just to see how people were acting. Just looking to take something and then just go run amok and try to make a buck on it. Um, there was one guy, I won't even mention his name, but he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, um, could I get a pack? I'm not going to make it to the show." I'm like, "Yeah," he's like, "Yeah, I just really like that in my life." And I'm a nice guy, man. So I'm like, "Yeah," so I don't just send him that. I send him like fucking the whole lineup, a pack of everything right to his crib on the house. I don't want any money, just enjoy. Um, Within basically like the way we calculate it, he went from that to I got a seed company now. I'm gonna produce skunk seed, and there wasn't even time to grow the females out from the male that he found in that fucking pack of seeds. Um, there wasn't even time to finish like actually looking at the females before he'd already taken a male, pollinated another female, and then had these seeds ready for sale. And I was like, wow. And I was seeing a lot of other similar stuff at the same time. The Philos thing was going on. Um, I was kind of a little bit deeper into it, like knowing certain people that were, I guess, kind of in certain circles that were letting me know at least, and I kind of already figured it out from beginning because I'm a little bit of a paranoid guy like that. That shit wasn't right. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, it would be a goddamn shame to work all them years, go through all that shit just to, get ripped off by some fucking pharma company or just some corporate entity like that. I decided until I can cover my ass, right? And make sure that I don't get ripped off in that regard. Um, I'm not gonna go put like an IBL or something like that or something even remotely close to that out into the world before I would be able to say like I'm not gonna have a Phylos or a whatever corporate canna do me like that. It nah, it ain't gonna happen. So like no clones are gonna make it out. No, none of that. So I kind of put that whole thing on hold, man, and decided to kind of step back and just kind of see what was gonna happen. And I saw a lot of funny a lot of funny shit, before I went away with it. And it still continues on today. So I just kind of left it at all right, Kim Kim and skunk kind of hybrids where you get some skunky Kim blends, and that's about as far as I decided to take it at that point.
Yeah, it sucks to hear you down on the Philos thing. The Philos thing was a big fucking kick in the dick to everybody in the cannabis industry, especially those who had supplied genetics. Uh, we all wanted the same thing, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed fucking genetics just to be stored, preserved. I see for you breeders an amazing potential in shit like that. Uh, just for sustainability. No longer do you have fuckers trying to, back cross your shit and reproduce your the strains later in time, which I believe just fucks things up. You know,
Yeah,
they're
because like
unless
it's a
you're a
great idea.
skilled breeder, you'll never even come close to what you as a breeder had in intentions and creations and selection, all that. Nobody's going to be able to reproduce that but you. And in my opinion, hopefully you're working out of the same packs. You know what I mean? You're finding
Yeah.
brother and sister from the original packs, and then maybe you might get close. What do you think?
Yeah, and like the whole concept of it was like great. Like it's great to be able to like see a gene pool. And it's also great like if you do put all this time into something, it's great to be like, all right, well, this guy can't just take this clone that's got all this blood, sweat, and tears on it, rename it something, claim it as his own, and then run with it. It's great because somebody could be like, okay, well, we sent it to whatever company that has this um, database, and it turns out you know that you're whatever. It's really this guy's fucking hard work. So like it was a great concept, and then you could like really get to see, because back then everybody wanted to know what really is this, what really is that, what makes it up. It was great. It was just bad that there was like a little sinister intention behind it all. But I mean, in the future, uh it might come around again where it's not that way. But that shit left such a bad taste, in everybody's mouth over that. They kind of did some damage, by doing that. But it is what it is. That's just how it is. So, but as far as like there's so many people out there that have these old things and these very unique things that are going to continue to do their own work, and it's not going to make it out to the masses and everything. But I think everybody can still sit back and say that's good. Like it's not being lost to time. It is being preserved. Yeah, it might not be in your grow right now, but at least like certain things aren't being lost. And you got some really good people out there, who are not only doing that, but they're giving these seeds out. They're selling them and everything too for, he said, yeah, $100 for a pack. To me, like that's to me that's a good bargain. You know, um, Especially a guy that's going to take some old NO5 skunk and Williams Wonder and stuff like that and actually work it out to where people are able to enjoy that again. I think that's fucking awesome. So like AK Bean Brains, he's a guy that's really doing it up. Um, Bob Hemphill with Crickets and Cicadas, he's another guy that's been doing some stuff that real old, authentic, the real deal. Like you can get these things from these guys, and things aren't being lost. They're being put back out there. So like if you're into that, those are definitely two guys that I would recommend that you go see. you know, got the real McCoy, because a lot of the markets, that the hype markets or whatever dessert shit is you know hot right now. Majority, a lot of people go that way, but I got a good feeling like your audience and everything, they're very similar to yourself and myself. Like they could really get into some of that. So make sure you see people like that, and make sure you support people like that too, because a lot of people don't know about these people, and without people supporting them, then they tend to they'll vanish out, and then when everybody's tired or whatever is going on this year, and they're like, oh man, whatever happened to this, it's gone. So make sure you support the people that are out there, putting in the work. And a lot of times like people don't even know they exist. So but yeah, I don't have a problem telling people, man. There's some good people out there that you should definitely seek out. you know
I agree. I've met a lot of them last. Well, this I'm coming up on in March. March 25th will be my second year of doing this thing here. And man, I've met so many great people the last couple of years. Breeders I never even knew about that have been putting in the work. Like great folks like you're talking about there. And it's been nice to, hear their story and, make sure that that's kind of what, I liked about doing this is hearing these stories and, making sure that that shit's documented. You know what I mean? The proper stories are being documented from the mouths that lived it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's awesome that people like yourself that are taking the time to put the work in proper.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys you'd never heard of are some of the best guys doing it, you know. So yeah, that's cool. Like I said, you're getting people like that you're getting their name out there. And for us that are growing it, um that's a big come up for a guy like you. Um, you kind of introduce that, to people that are like minded into the same stuff. Um, it's a real cool thing, man. So it's reciprocal and big circle of life, you know, all that is good stuff.
So on the stuff that you're created, uh, what's available or what could be available in the future? Uh,
Well,
is it, since the trouble has all been lost, are you starting anew? Uh, what does
nah,
the future hold?
I'm
You
an
have
old outlaw,
friends,
dude.
good friends hopefully holding some good stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Let's put it
This
that
ain't
way.
my first radio, that's for sure. Like, yeah, when you live that lifestyle, man, you got to make the right preparations for some doomsday action, So, yeah, so I've always been one to, keep things with not just one person either, like spread it out amongst a few people. So if something happens to, you got redundancy in it. So yeah, I got, all my clones backed up, old seed stock backed up. So yeah, there's gonna be like new projects and everything too. There were some that were right on the cusp of in their last step, the last phase. But I didn't get a chance to complete that last step before I had to go away. So I'm going to jump right into those, get those last steps done, and get those run through testing and everything. Those would be the first things. And then also while I'm doing that, I want to be starting on to some new things where I might have been one step into it or two steps into it, and there might be two or three more steps to go. But yeah, there's a lot of new things coming. um the way I do things, I shit, man, I ain't even gonna talk about any of it. Like like when I put a picture up, like I've normally it's already been grown, tested. I'm just doing it again for photos and some bud. So that way at a show, I'm gonna have some fresh bud to have in the jar on the table so people can actually, see it, smell it, you know, smoke it allegedly when I forget to grab the bud back from the guy and tell him to go to the parking lot. Uh, that type of shit. So we got all that going on, but I did have a nice stash of beans, of what I had, um, that was already available that I had stashed out with a friend. So when I got out, um, I'd be able to get those back. So good news for everybody. And I guess cool thing is that your audience is gonna be the ones hearing it first. So I got a pretty good variety, 8 varieties, that I'm gonna put out there. It's gonna take me mm, it's gonna be a week or two before they go up or whatever. But I did uh I did have the Doomsday Vault ready to ready to rock and roll. So yeah, man, there's gonna be some cool shit. That'd be like some Burnout Killing, some Hoodoo, some Skunk Band B2, Well, a lot of other cool shit.
It's awesome. That's good to hear, man. That's awesome to hear. Because man, when you went away, that's one of the things I don't know. If you realize the weight in the cannabis history of what it was it one of them things that kind of I don't know. I understand it sucked, but did you realize, hey, man, I understood I was pretty well known in the game, but you know they fucking give a shit, man. I'm a little bigger than this motherfucker than I thought, man, because it really shook the industry. You know what I mean? We were worried about you, brother.
Yeah,
You and the strains, of course.
it was crazy because like I knew like like people knew my work and stuff like that, and the majority of people that I dealt with on IG or at shows, mostly like blue collar dudes, some real crunchy kind of heady type cats too, and it was like a kind of mix of the two. Um, but like I had no idea how many people like, and then I guess like when it really comes to it, yeah, people telling me it's like, man, dude, people are just come out the woodwork and they're like, yeah, you took the time to teach them how to grow weed, or you gave them a bunch of seeds, or you helped raise a bunch of money when their house burnt down in a wildfire, or you did this, you did that, and I didn't really think about all that. I was like, oh fuck, man, fucking people coming out of the woodwork. I'm like, oh yeah, because like when I'm helping people out, I'm not thinking like, oh yeah, well, on the back end, I'm not thinking like I just like I like to help people and shit. And I like to help people grow, or like people are, on some hard times and shit. I know all about that. So, I don't like to see people suffering and shit, good people, down and out. So, and when when I was, down and out, yeah, they just come out, man. And I had no idea. Like, it was so many people, and it was just mind blowing, man. Just really mind blowing. So, yeah, I can't thank those people enough. Like, just really amazing thing, all that love. So, I can't even, that's fuck, man. Still can't even put it in the words. But yeah, I had no idea, man. And other people were telling me too, like, a bunch of people that like had your gear, like a lot of people grew it before. A lot of people just would buy it and just sit on it, or they had a friend with some, and people really got to grow in it, like it, more so once I was away. And when people were coming back to each other, like, holy fuck, the shit's the fucking truth, man. That's when I guess people really were seeking all the stuff out. But by that point, it was gone because like I didn't do like DNA and some other companies, where they make a fuck ton of seed because there's such a big demand for it, and that like they'll sell it. So I had like a roundabout idea like how many packs, because I kind of dealt with these people in and out on a day by day basis. So I had a pretty good feel. So I'd just make just enough packs to where I felt like, hey, this is enough for the crew, and I'm good with that. You know, so yeah, man, it wasn't there to be had by the time the word really spread, I guess. But yeah, it's just been fucking mind blowing, man.
I mean, if I would put myself in your shoes and I fucking somebody showed me a, a free Dude Diamond t-shirt, I'd be, that's one of the things you're like, God damn, man. It's fucking it's one, I get a little bit of something else. That shit would have teared me up. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That was like no shit. That shit kind of sometimes, man. Even after the trouble, especially after the trouble. You know what I mean? You fucking question humanity. You know what I mean? People shitting on people and fucking people stabbing people in the back. You kind of like, you know what? Fuck people. And then you turn around and you get in that situation, and then you see a free Duke Diamond t-shirt and you go, well, maybe fucking there are some good motherfuckers out there still. You
yeah,
know?
man,
Oh,
for
man.
sure. That's the one thing I could definitely say about being locked up. When I went down the first time, it was back in '07. Um, People that I thought would definitely be there right now, and that's the thing, right? It's like my best fucking friends, the cat fucking ratting on me, first off. And then other people that you think, are going to have you back, they're not, right? Because, the fair weathered friend thing we were talking about, it's like, all right, the good times are gone, money's gone, weed's gone, whatever, they're gone, right? And then you got other ones, that just turn into fucking cocksuckers. Um, you're gonna have that, but and then and just the same as there is now, you're gonna get to see who's really fucking down, right? And when you get to see who's really fucking down and really like really has your back, that is fucking priceless, dude. Fucking priceless. Like, and God forbid, I don't want anybody to get fucking locked up, but that's the one fucking great thing because you can always say, like, I wonder if, man, I don't need to wonder if I fucking know these motherfuckers had my back. And that was then. Fucking fast forward. Yeah, you know what? I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, there's a couple cocksuckers in the fucking mix on this last bit. But my God, dude, the amount of fucking people to fucking stay behind you, uh, all the love, all the just the good words and just everything else. And anytime any bullshit comes up, they're fucking up in arms, like, nah, you're full of fucking shit. Like, you're talking out the side of your neck, talking to my guy all wrong, stab you in the face with a soldering iron, that type of shit. Fucking love that shit. And dude, solid fucking gold. And just an amazing, amazing thing. Yeah, it sucks. Like, you really have to go through some shit like that to really truly see that. But man, like just fucking awesome. So that's like the good thing that that you can take out of something like that is that that you really got some really, really, really fucking good, really solid people. And even before that though, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not that super optimistic. The world's all sunshine and fucking rainbows. I know it's not. The world's a fucked up place, man. It really is. It's full of a lot of fucked up people and stuff. But being more on the smaller side of things, it 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 gave me time to really get to know who who was the grower on the other end, which led to a lot of good acquaintances and friendships and stuff like that. I get to see these people at shows and like actually like talk to them and stuff. I'd see them outside of shows, just be like, all right, you guys come meet me in like a random fucking alleyway or fucking parking lot or something, and shoot the shit real quick and stuff like that. Like I got to actually know the people I was dealing with, and I knew like right then and there, like, yeah, there's a lot of fucked up people out there, a lot of really shitty people, but you know what? There's a lot of really awesome people out there too. And like since I've been out, the COVID thing, everybody's been locked down in the house and everything, and people are kind of at each other's necks a little bit, And for anybody that's never been to prison, that's kind of that's kind of what happens when when you're locked in rooms and you're getting a lot of controls put on you and shit like that. Stress runs high, and people tend to get a little irritable toward each other. But you know, I think once we're able to like finally like really get back out there dealing with each other again, um, yeah, it's not that bad of a place, man. It's kind of what we make it, who we surround ourselves with. Um, I think good people are going to attract good people, and when you go to these shows and everything, and everybody's together, you really get to see like there's a lot of us, man, and that's a force to be reckoned with, man. So, but yeah, just just awesome all the way around to see. It's good to be free, but just great to know, like, I got a fucking small army of fucking really awesome people in my fucking corner, man. That's a great fucking feeling.
So, do you have a story or a memorable moment, I guess, and how one of the strains you've created has, you know, impacted you, or a memorable moment? Say, maybe it won a cup around the world, or is it just as simple as a story? I mean, cannabis is a weird thing nowadays, especially with the legality of it, the medical aspects of it. I know my journey with it has changed fucking incredibly. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to say that when I hustled it back in the day, it was the same thing as everybody else. I've done it as far as fucking grade school. I was a kid at the bus stop selling 3 for $5. You know what I mean? I was later in high school. I figured out 3 quarters got me a free quarter. Enough of
That's
those, I was ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Then, as far as legality, I seen it, change. It changed me. Seeing how it affected people. But is that, you know, do you have one of these stories where it's, you've actually met somebody and that's the case? You're one of your strains. I can't get through the day without it. Tell me some of your memorable moments with some of your strains. Do you have some memorable stories you can
man.
share?
Um, I do. Um, I guess the one of them, like as you mentioned, like a cup win. Lovely PDX. He took the fucking Imperial Eagle and he won a cup with that. He beat out Cookies and a whole bunch of other shit, and fucking crushed it on that. That was the Romulan Screaming Eagle. It was the Imperial Eagle. So that was cool. And I was in fucking county jail, fucking lockup, when I heard it too. So I was like, that's fucking awesome. Um, that was pretty cool. Far as like a good hustle story, um, I had made some seed. I just happened to have them in my book bag because like I was I was at the shop, was doing some work. I just happened to have them in my book bag because the show I'm going to is like not far away from the shop, and it was like right around the corner from this house I had at the moment. And this dude comes up at the show, and it's not like this isn't like a real show. This is like behind a glass shop, um um hydro shop in Longmont, Colorado, kind of like in a parking lot alleyway. And it's not exactly legit or anything, but we're like, fuck it, we do it anyway. And big shout out to fucking Robbie, fucking Nerds Genetics. He's another guy y'all should give him a follow, check him out. Fucking awesome dude. Um, anyhow, so we're like doing our thing there. This dude comes up and he's like, yeah, I like everything you got. Um, he's like, what do you got? You got anything different? And I was like, oh, I mean, all this shit's different, man. I was like, you just looked at all the bud and you smoked some and everything. He's like, yeah. He's like, I need something unique, man. He's like, look, he's like, I fucking got fucking hardly any money. He's like, I got a spot for the grow. I'm living in the grow, and like my heart's going out to this guy because I've been living in a grow for a while too. Like I had an air mattress, everything fucking behind, and that's a whole nother thing, fucking of like what it takes to like accomplish goals or whatever. So, but I'm like, all right, I feel you, dude.
It's so
So
hard to sleep through the lights, man. It's a sleep,
it
but it
is.
ain't darkness sleep, grow room
It
sleep.
ain't, man. It ain't. So I'm really feeling where this guy's coming from. So I was like, all right, you left your home state too with just enough to get by on. You're living in your grow. You're not eating right. You're every 2 or 3 days you eat. I can totally relate to what's going on. He's like, I need something different in the market that could maybe, like a heavy yielder that's something totally different. And I was like, you know what? Something's telling me right now that I need to give you some of these. So I was like, look, I'm gonna give you these, right? Don't you tell a fucking soul, right? Don't you fucking tell nobody I gave you this shit, because people start finding out like I'm a fucking nice guy. They're gonna start fucking pressing me, right? And they're gonna fucking be asking me for shit. And I don't need that type of shit in my life, man. So he's like, yeah, man. I'm not gonna fucking tell nobody. I was like, tell everybody I'm a dickhead, all right? And fucking don't mention this. I was like, here, take these. So I give him like, I think it was like 20 seeds. And he's like, look, I got some money. I was like, nah, fuck your money, dude. Just take them, do something good with it. And when you are doing good, man, like pay it forward, help somebody else out or whatever. So I guess maybe a year goes by. I get an Instagram message. This guy, he made his IG up and everything. And he's like, dude, I fucking trapped the fuck out of that shit, man. Here's the plant that I ended up keeping. He's like, yield's fucking huge. He's like, it's just fucking insane. People can't get enough of it. And I'm like, all right, fucking right on. He's like, so now he's like, here's my warehouse. And I was like, oh, well, all right, you did it like that. Cool. So now he's got this fucking warehouse. And he's like, all right, how would you set it up? So I'm like, fuck it, do it like this, like this. I help him, just telling him, how to set it up. I don't hear nothing from him for about 6 months. And he's like, dude, it fucking rocked out. Here's my fucking extraction lab I'm opening up now. And this dude fucking crushes it. Ends up doing a medical thing. He's giving like all this free fucking extract and weed out to all these patients because he knew like that was my jam too, is like hooking up sick people for free. Like, don't take their money. He's doing that. Now he's all fucking legit. He's badged up. He's fucking fucking out there just crushing it, man. Um, and he all did it off of the fucking pack of seeds that I give him in a fucking alleyway at a fucking bootleg show. That was a cool one.
That is a fucking awesome story right there, brother. That's super. Uh, uh, yeah. Oh, I just fucking squirrel at it. Question for you, and I fucking totally squirreled that shit. uh, Hell yeah, that's awesome because we talk random. I end every show with it here, random acts of kindness. Everybody needs that pick me up once in a while. You never know when that small thing you do for somebody is going to have an impact, or
Exactly.
you know, give them a second chance. Really, everybody
Yeah,
deserves a
man.
fucking second chance, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because like literally maybe I don't know, a few months prior to that, I was had made my way up to having a warehouse, and I was sleeping on an air fucking mattress, up in the grow. And I had been doing that, for a hot fucking minute. So yeah, I know what it's like to like, all right, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna like, you know, get some shit so I can feed these plants? Or do I eat once a day? You know? Like, well, I guess I'll eat every 3 days, right? Um, Maybe get some ramen fucking noodles or something to sustain myself daily. Um, maybe a pack of ramen a day, and then on every third day, maybe something with some sustenance. So that way I can get this big sack of, uh, Indonesian backbone to make some tea with, like, really having to make a call like that. I mean, it's just, a lot of sacrifice and shit. That's the thing. It's like, if you want to do it, you gotta be ready to make those sacrifices. Like, that shit don't come easy unless, like, you just got a shit ton of money or whatever, and you're able to roll like that. And hey, that's cool too. But most dudes like me and you, and I'm sure plenty of other people, that's the thing. Is like, if you really want to do it, like, how bad do you want it? You got to make it fucking happen. That's, I mean, it's a lot of things. Driving all over the country, crossing state lines with fucking little plants with no roots on them, right? Little clones or snips or whatever, and fucking making shit fucking happen. Being a gypsy, going from one spot to the next, and keeping things alive on the journey, and finally getting to where you're needing to go. Like I said, taking a lot of risk and hopefully reaping a little bit of reward, and making your situation a little bit better each time. So you finally get to that point where it's like, all right, now I can eat more than once a day, especially more than once every 3 days. Plants are happy, you're happy, you're healthy, you can start living normally, maybe in a house now. Um, yeah, yeah, it's quite the fucking journey, man.
It is, man. It's funny that, all right, well, it's funny you say a lot of these things because I've actually echoed a lot of that shit this last year. It's been a tuck and roll. It's been a tuck and roll year for me, my
Yeah.
friend, as well. But before I get this out of here, I didn't want to lose this. In chat, I don't know if you want to say or whatever, but they want to know. I'm curious, what was the strain?
Well, we call it. I won't go into what the lineage of it is, but we just call it pineapple skunk.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy to hear that, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, ah, yeah, it's been a tough roll year. I know I can relate to everything you said, from the air mattress, all that shit, and it kind of leads me to some questions I had about organics. Uh, Actually, soil saved my grow this year. It was one of those, I realize I'm so glad because I was coming out of cocoa. This time last year I would have been in chunky cocoa grow, and I swapped
Yeah.
over to soil. And man, I had never been so happy to be in soil as this last year. How forgiving it was. Water, there's tons of good things I could say about switching to soil this last year. But you believe that organics plays a key role in breeding, and how big of a role do you think the organics? At one point, I've heard you use fermented fruit juices. I'd like to hear your thoughts on shit like that too.
Yeah,
But
man.
shoot, so
I think I want to make sure I word this right, because it's the word weird world out there. People take stuff out of context and get all weird about it. So I guess huh. I guess I feel like, whether when we're talking about to the actual part of pollinating, making seeds, right? Um, I want my plants, of course, like anybody, I want them as happy as possible, as healthy as possible, and furthermore, able to hit their genetic potential. All right. Now, leading up to that point, I feel like if you're breeding and you're making selections, if you're not hitting the genetic potential of your grow to make these selections, then your selections are kind of going to be a little skewed, right? So now it's not to say that there aren't people growing in soil that fuck up, or drain the waste fucking emitters, running salts or cocoa or anything for that matter. But I've grown about every way you can think of. Um, and at the end of it, my quality is always gonna surpass doing it in organics versus anything else. Um, and at the end of it, when it comes to my selections for breeding, that's what I'm looking for. It's the quality of these resin glands, the quality of the terpene profile, the potency, you know, all these things. So to me, personally, I feel that if I'm able to hit those marks, doing it that way, that's going to lead me to make better selections and a better quality end goal at at the end of it, versus say synthetics where you might not get the full profile like you normally you might see in organics. So that's my thoughts on the organics and breeding. you know that's just my preferred method anyway.
I have to agree 100% about bringing the plant to its potential, fullest potential with organics during the female selection there. 100%. So is there any, do you see any differences in say seed size or production as far as running organics versus other methods?
So I have a friend who's also a breeder. He does this thing, does a modified Lucas formula. Um, he does this thing, whatever. Um, I seed quality and everything, like the seed itself, as far as like germination, seed size, all these good things. Um, they're right on point with each other. Same rules of thumb apply. The quantity of seeds per size of said plant. Given that your pollen's hitting it at a certain time, like it's, I guess you call it the peak time, because there's like a little window that you can hit where you're going to get a lot more seed and a lot more I guess I should say a lot more viable seed. You go too late, you end up with a lot of immature dud white seeds and everything in the mix. You go too early, you don't get as many. um, so there's a little sweet spot, what I mean. So if you're hitting the sweet spot and everything, you're still ending up with the same amount, um, without some type of like scientific backing, I guess. I can't say that, seed produced that way is going to differ from the seed that I would produce. But, I'm better safe than sorry kind of guy. Like, um, I feel like it's, the way I'm doing it, it's not hurting anything producing them that way. That's for sure. So, like I said, from selections to testing to actually making seed, yeah, I'm more my way. and there's like there's a crucial element to like when you're actually producing seed that I know a lot of guys they overlook it or they just don't know about it. Boron's huge, fucking huge. With when you're making seed. So that's something that I make sure that I'm supplementing. Um, I do a few other things a little bit different when I'm feeding um, plants that are pregnant, if you will, seed bearing plants. So I'm at the end of the day, like people are really happy that the beans always sprout. A lot of times people are real blown away like how quickly they germinate, how quickly they blast through the soil or the medium wherever they're growing it. So they're, it's obviously doing something right.
Right. So may I ask when do you suggest that your sweet spot? Is it cultivar
It's gonna change.
dependent, or
Yeah.
is it just a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
touch up, bro?
It's definitely gonna depend on what you're growing. Because the bud set, like from the time you start flowering to the time you're starting to see flowers, and the time that they're sizable versus the time that plant's kind of finished doing what she's doing. That's going to differ between cultivar to cultivar. So everyone's got its little sweet spot.
We were I have no expectations to do any breeding at the moment, but we're putting together like a memorial strain for somebody we got to know here along the lines of the show here, another fellow weed nerd. Man, sub touched a lot of lives, man, mine included. And it's been an honor to, uh, get to know a lot of weed nerds over the years. And we met one over the last 2 years, and he ended up coming on the show. And we got to know him. He started hanging out. And past last December, not this last December, but the December before that, he passed. And along the lines, we decided we'd do something for him to kind of remember him. So we've kind of decided to put together a strain and pass it out and to the community to anybody that wanted to remember him. So we've been discussing uh, our breeding project on air. This is
All
one
right.
of the things we were discussing the other night
Well, I
when we
tell you
should
what. Let
introduce
me
the
let
male.
me let me contribute. Let me contribute to your to your project there because that's a damn cool thing to do for somebody. So the female that you're gonna use, at what point would you say like you're normally chopping at? How many days of flower you feel?
Well, that's the thing here. We're doing it both ways, I guess. So Smiley's like Smiley's Gardens is huge around here. She's super smart grower, and I respect everything he's doing. And he's, you know, been huge on the channel as well. He does once a month, and he. It's funny we talk about this because he does a once a month show, the Organics Takeover, and earlier he said maybe we could do fingers crossed for the Organics Takeover. But he's the other half of this project. So another weed nerd, Miranda Family Farms, sent us the two strains. This is how it all worked out. I know this is I'm taking the long way around your question here, brother. So we took his two favorite strains that we learned he liked, and they happened to be TGA strains.
Right.
One was the Jack Skellington, and the other one was North Star's Columbia. Miranda Family Farm sent them to me, and I grew out half. I grew out the Colombian. Smiley grew out Jack Skellington. And so he phenoed hunted a male and a female. I hunted, obviously a male and female out of mine. And so my female went to him. He's gonna take his Jack male and pollinate, my girl, and I took his Jack Skellington. So there's a little bit of variance there. Mine, I went 88 days. My girl that I chose was, but I like to go heavy. I like to see her ripen out, take her the whole mile. 88 days.
All right. All right. So in 88 days. And I'm assuming that's the Colombian there that you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and say that by day 28, you got some pretty nice little cotton balls everywhere, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna say your sweet spot is gonna be between like 28 days to 30, let's say 35. So during that period, if you're hitting her with pollen, you're gonna end up doing pretty fat yield of seed. So you shouldn't have a problem um, having plenty of them to go around to everybody. Now the trick is we got that part. Now we got our male, right? So Jack Skellington, I'm gonna go ahead and say if you really want to like really fucking make this thing, knock it out of the park, take a clone of that male and go ahead and put it in flour, like root it up in a little 1 gallon or whatever, and time it. Like find out about when it's like really clustered up and when he's getting ready to fucking dump. Jack Skellington, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say he's probably gonna be around 28 days before he's really like you're gonna see some shit open up before then. But 28 days, I'm guessing he's really gonna be tapping with a bamboo stick. He's gonna fucking burst pollen everywhere. So with 28 days, and we want to hit our female, what we're gonna want to do is I'd say you could probably put them in the flower about the same time. Maybe give the male a few days jump start. In the case of where the male's gonna be like a little bit quicker, you want to give that male a little bit more of a jump start, like maybe give him a week ahead of time. So by the time the female's getting ready, the male's already there. Then you can move them in, tap them with the bamboo stake or whatever. Maybe you like to do like Sub used to do, and pick it up, shake that motherfucker, walking around the room. However you want to do it, man. But that's the whole key is timing that male sweet spot to that female sweet spot, and it might in that case you probably put them in together. In other cases, you might have to give the male a jump start, or in some cases you might have to give the females a jump start, and that's the trick right there.
Well, that's see what we were kind of kicking around is in my case, it's like limited time. So I obviously want maximum seed as well. So would we kind of be better off with I guess more space, smaller females, and many more of them versus like trying to go bigger? And well, we're kind of how do I say this correctly? We're trying to judge the male for maximal, basically. We were thinking, throwing them in a little bit later would provide more seed, but it might have to go longer. But if we threw them in earlier, we'd get less seed, but healthier seed. But if we did that, could we, compensate by, more females, more surface area that way versus more bud sites or, bracts. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
If you're talking like especially like letting it go into like that 12-week time frame, and like she's still doing good, ripening up and everything at 12 weeks. Oh man, there's way more than enough time for everything to come to fruition. You shouldn't have any duds. Um you can, I mean, you can make some pretty big plants and pollinate them. They'll come out great. Um but honestly, like if you do like smaller plants, and like by smaller I mean like you know, belly button high, maybe, chest high, something like that. Something you can reach your arms around. That's a perfectly good sized plant. And do it like you would in, flowering. Strip the lower shit off. Um not all of it, but like anything real, that would be kind of larfy at the end, flower wise. That way it's putting all energy into good stuff. You're gonna end up with a lot of seed, man. I mean, a lot. So a plant that size, I mean, you could potentially have shit, man, 10,000 good, viable, perfect little seeds on one plant like that. So yeah, it just depends depends how many people you're hooking up.
well, I've learned again, no expectations of being a breeder, but yeah, I'm very much learning how a little bit of pollen can go a long way, which is
Yeah,
going to
man.
kind of lead me into my next question is so I've done my fucking selection a while now. I've been sitting on a male, a nice male that I chose out of the batch, and been kind of waiting to do the project. And along the lines there, uh, even though I've kept him in veg, he's threw out a couple of fucking sacks and fucking pollinated some shit. So, and again, I guess a follow up with this would be, or beforehand, you can answer it either way. How important is it to actually keep a male, keep your male for proper, preservation for that strain? You know what I mean? For recreating a second batch, third batch, fourth batch. You
It's
know what I mean?
it's very, very, very important, because if you want to be able to recreate, and you want that same result, you're gonna need that same pairing, which leads into a lot of problems. A lot of people don't show a lot of love to the boys, so they end up going to the wayside. I've known a lot of people to do something, get rid of the boy, and it's the best shit ever, and then, he ain't around anymore. Um, I've known some people that keep and store pollen. Some people do good with it. Some people fail epically with it. Um, and then you got people that will keep those males. Keeping males, like you're just talking about it, they want to start, growing a few sacks here and there. Some of them want to fucking start auto flowering the second they get root mound. Some of them do it even without being root mound. So like that was another thing that I tended to try to stay away from with my males. When I got to like my winter circle, out of ones that I selected, um, I would try to get them to get a little root bound in a smaller container, and see if they had any like auto flowering properties, like they wanted us to go nuts the second they got a little bit tight in their shoes. And to me, like I didn't want that. So I would, try to go to the
So
one that wouldn't do that.
if you don't, I told you again, I hate my interrupting it, but this is, at that point when do you prefer or would you select the mid? Because again, I've had this problem along the way, and again, I'm not, I'm just trying to learn. Again, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy you were talking about earlier where next week you think I'm going to be fucking selling a bunch of now. I'm just
Nah,
curious because I had
nah,
two
nah.
males here.
Yeah.
One of them threw fucking balls or sacks early on, and the other one didn't. Side by side, same lighting, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if in that instance you got two males, one flowers quickly and the other one takes his time, is there any benefits to one or the other, the later flowering versus the earlier flowering, unless that's something you're looking for and you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well,
Is there some,
that's
please,
with
you're the
me.
expert.
I ain't no expert, man. I've just fucked up a lot in the past.
Your
So
opinion's got a shit ton of weight, brother. That's for sure.
so with that, so to me, like it's like it's two different things, right? Um I'm more inclined to, like, let's say like we got our, say, four males, right? They all exhibit the same things that I'm looking for in my males as far as this project's concerned, right? So to me, they're all four winners. So as far as like observable traits thus far, um, now if they're looking to like start, auto flowering on me and stuff, like that's to me at least, that's like a no go. Um, so let's say two out of the four they do that, they're out of my winner's circle. So now I'm down to two. Now out of these two, I'm going to take clones from each one, and I want to go ahead and veg them up a little bit, and I want to flower them. Um, I'm looking at the one, how fast of a bud set am I getting, right? Just like we were talking about with our female, by day 21, am I looking at some pretty decent popcorn, right? Um, I'm also looking at the formation, right? Am I growing like spindly type colas here, or am I getting some nice dense, you know, floral formation here? You know what I mean? Am I getting some good spears? Am I detecting any glands, that are going along there? Um, so I'm kind of looking at that. So if I see one that's got, say, a faster bud set, um, that's kind of leading me along the line of like I might be able to speed my flower time up, versus the other one that might have a bud set that's 10 days later, or it's far smaller later on. Um, and then like at the actual floral formation there, like are they tight clusters, am I growing spears, or am I, kind of spindly? So from there, then then I can make my more definitive selection, saying, all right, A versus B. And then I go from there. You know? So that's where I'm getting my flower time, you know, um, inputs from the boy, and that's also where I'm getting seeing what he's trying to pass along as far as like floral formation.
I was going to ask this earlier. In the perfect world, because tissue culture is becoming a more and more regular thing. I think at some point, it'll come to something that you can do at home, or at least keep the samples at home. You know what I mean? Take and
Yeah.
keep samples at home. Uh, if that ever becomes a thing, we run rapid with breeding, with the insurance of knowing that again, mom and pop are put safely away. Because I'm right there with you. I kind of knew the importance of keeping mom and dad there. That's one of the problems that I have with the recreation, or people saying that they've recreated this strain, especially without putting their name on it. You know what I mean? This is my version of X strain. You know what I mean? This is my interpretation, my recreation of it. This isn't just something I put mine. You know what I mean? I'm putting out a strain that it might not even be fucking close. But I'm hoping with tissue cultures that won't be a worry.
Yeah, that definitely makes life a whole lot easier for sure, man. Plus, like when you come at tissue culture, you're coming back out with a lot of vigor. You know, you don't have to worry about if there was any, say, powdery mildew issues before. You know, it's gonna come out clean. You don't have to worry about the pest and everything. So yeah, it's a it's definitely a go for me. I always wanted to have like a tissue culture lab just set up in my own spot, but just never got around to it. But as time goes on, the affordability of it all, it's becoming more of a a thing that guys like us, we can do that now. So yeah, I think it's definitely a damn good thing. And I think it's also like it's good, like we're having this talk and just sharing knowledge on, like, this, maybe if you are looking to make your seeds, like I said, like when I was making seeds back in the day, I wasn't doing it to have a fucking company. I was just doing it for just preservation's sake. Or just like, hey, I want this. This doesn't exist in the world, but I think it'd be cool. So let's try it out. You know, there's all types of people out there, and there's gonna be some people too, like they wanna start, like a seed company and shit, and like more power to them. Hopefully they'll do it with passion, right? And they'll do it the right way. And if they got some good knowledge behind it, that they'll have those tools in their toolbox to do it the right way. And then they make their own contribution to the genetics world, to the weed world, come up with that new thing, uh, preserve something. So it's good. It's good for that knowledge to be there. I don't mind telling people either, because the like the guy I was talking about before, he's another fly by night guy. Like he ain't around anymore, man. Fucking those people, you never have to worry about them because they're not gonna do the work. That's why they do what they do. So this knowledge, it's good to be out there for the people that are going to want to do the work. And it's good to have people out there that do the work, because there's not enough. There's not enough people out there actually really doing it. So yeah, man, it's good stuff to have out there. And these little tidbits I'm throwing out there, if that helps somebody out, man, fucking awesome.
Oh, I'm sure that there's tons of people out there that appreciate that. And again, I've been very on the record of, the disheartening of the just uh breed hype times hype to make a quick buck like that. There's so much instability out there that way. And then moreover, you're fucking people over in the wrong way. People buy them seeds and then get a garden full of harms or whatever, or shit gear. You know what I mean? Nobody wants. It's sad people that aren't doing it for passionate reasons instead of a quick buck. And it's gonna fuck the market up. It's gonna make a lot of people disheartening or distrusting of the market or breeders in general.
I tell you what, man, if fucking fucking ass whippings and stabbings and shit like that got more popular, or like started becoming like coming back in more favor, you definitely see a lot less of that. That was used to be my thing. Is like, man, if I fuck somebody's grow up like that, like, that'd be, that's the reason for all the testing. Like, I don't want to waste somebody's money, but I definitely don't want to waste somebody's time. And shit, I know how I am, man. I know how some of my friends are. Like, if I got fucked over like that, man, some of my friends, if like there were shows going on and stuff like that, and they got fucked over, they'd be right up there in the line waiting us to go up there and break motherfuckers' jaw, like straight up, man. So, um, yeah, but nowadays, I guess that's frowned upon or whatever. So, whatever. But I'm still gonna, do my thing and make sure I'm doing a good job. Just for this is, this is what you're supposed to do, I guess. Like, but there's other guys like I don't know, I don't know how they do what they do, but hey, it ain't me.
So I have another good question I'd like to ask you. I asked a lot of the breeders as well. Do you think that indoor breeding will, do you think that we're weakening strains with just indoor breeding, indoor breeding, kind of like fucking it, like, the banana? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I
How
know.
it did itself in through that type of breeding? You think we're setting ourselves up for a shit show later on, a plant that isn't sustainable for, outdoor growing and shit like that? Or even variants, we're taking away Mother Nature, the sun,
Yeah.
do you think that limits a strain creation? Should a strain be created outdoors and indoors? How big of a sway do you think that has in the strain creation?
Yeah, that's a excellent point. Um, my buddy Mean Gene, fucking, he's another dude. Like, I'm sure everybody heard him, but if you haven't, fucking Mean
Keep it
Gene,
on.
Freeborn Selections, that's his company. But you can get some fucking banging shit from that dude. But he breeds outdoors. Well, he's at least growing outdoors. I know he's made seed outside too. But you know, that's the thing. Like, plants, they acclimate, you know. And it doesn't just happen like, in one grow, you know what I mean? But a plant will acclimate. And over many generations, that's how they kind of become what they are. So yeah, I do feel like, um if things are just, always pampered to or whatever, yeah, you're kind of like breeding it for indoor growth. But I also feel like if you're making the right selections in your breeding, um that you're still going to be fine outside. um so a lot of stuff that's like bred inside of, especially some of the hype shit, flimsy stems. If you try to grow it outside, the wind blows, man, it's it's over. So I feel like if you're breeding for the full program, good strong branching, um nice structure, um if you can look for any type of pest resistance, mold mildew resistance as well. um and when you are in your testing phase, if you actually do, if yourself personally, if you're growing outside, say like I'm here in Colorado, I can grow it here at altitude where I'm at. It gets kind of gnarly with the wind sometimes. Can check it out there, one, to see what changes, because some things grow great inside, grow shit outside, vice versa. You know what I mean? And sometimes it just enhances it when it goes outside. So I get to see that. But you know, having friends that live in different parts of the country. So I got friends that live in, you know, say like in the Emerald Triangle. I have friends in Oregon, right? Friends in Maine, friends in Virginia, Florida. I kind of get to get some of that feedback for like how does it perform outside. Um, so I think like if we're making the right steps inside, um, that ultimately like we'll be okay outside too. But that's not to say like if you wanted a very specific region, you know, something to perform super outstanding in that particular region, that breeding it outside with plants that are grown outside and are becoming more acclimated to that environment, you know, I would see that as a good thing. And it would definitely be more beneficial, you know, to like outdoor seed production in that specific region or a region that's very similar to it. You know what I mean?
I do. So I guess as you know, the keeper of what most people would say the only keeper of the good skunk these days. I got a question of that because I've had Mean Gene on, by the way. Great episode. He told some fucking funny fucking stories. Get some time, go back and check that one out. And I may have even asked him this question as well. Uh, did skunk actually? This is my opinion of what skunk or what happened with the skunk or why we can't recreate or bring it back is I just think it was brought basically what I'm asking you right now. I believe it was brought indoors and it just kind of lost its pizzazz through the artificial lighting, the artificial, you know, environment. It didn't have the stressors that brought on the necessary terps that, you know, deer or whatever fuck, you know, whatever brought on those terps during its land race phase just kind of faded out. And, you know, obviously too loud or whatever. I've heard, you know, Joe Drake speak on the point that it was just too loud, that people didn't want to grow the shit and it just kind of got lost. But you know, I think it might be in some of that, and then some of it just was kind of sway, or we just kind of fucking lost it from indoor growing. As far as like recreation of it, and again, you tell me I'm dead wrong or whatever. I think it's just that it isn't the guys that are trying to properly breed or pheno select aren't, you know, it isn't being done outdoors. It isn't the same type of environmental stressors. You know what I mean? I don't. You're not the animals. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
not having deers and fucking everything running around kicking shit in your fucking grow room. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that miracle that created that strain was just that a fucking it needs time. Somebody's gonna stumble across it. You know what I mean? But I
yeah.
don't think somebody's gonna have luck to recreate it. I don't know. Your thoughts,
Well,
please.
I think like there's a whole lot of right to what you're saying there. So in my experience, I've encountered that that funk from a few different hybrids, right? Um, they're all old things, and the combinations of certain of these old things will give you that desired terpene profile. Um, they're right about, you know, the Dutch back in the day. They started breeding away from certain smells. Yeah, that was a thing. I've heard lots of conversations about that over the years. That was a thing. Um, People that were selecting for that maybe early on. Their work kind of went to the wayside, you know, where other guys start breeding in another way. So a lot of like Neville's work that was real nasty, funky stuff. Um, He was an outlaw. He wasn't too concerned about you know, he's trying to make the best possible thing possible. So but yeah, guys that bred away from that, yeah, that's part of it too. So if you say we're gonna get two or three of the building blocks to make what might have been around in that day, if you went to go source that right now, it's not the same stock as you would have had back in a certain era. So there's that. Um, also, yeah, like people that were growing outside back then, a lot of that weed was grown outdoors. Um, and the stressors, the triggers, right? You're right, man. Rabbits eating on shit, deer, um, the wind, all that good stuff. Um, and the biggest thing that I noticed, and because like I get to be at the shows, right, and get to see a few thousand people's weed. Um, a lot of people mess up during the growing. They grow a pretty flower, but not a very terpene rich flower. Um, and then some people are growing pretty good, right? But they're not hitting the potential, but they're fucking up and they're drying and they're curing. So um people's grow style, whether we're talking about like growing outside or even people that are growing indoors, um we can do the whole synthetic versus organics thing. Furthermore, we could even go into the whole organics, and the biggest thing I noticed is people are using their kelp and their alfalfa wrong. They're going way too far into flower with it. um People are also, back in the day, like people used to use Epsom salt in their grows and everything. I remember my grandma, my mom, dad, just on regular things like it was good stuff. Magnesium sulfate. Sulfur is huge, and making for a terpene development. So people aren't looking at the little things that help to take, like I said, I keep saying it over and over, but the genetic potential, right? So yeah, biomass is great and all that fucking good shit, but at the end of the day, like we're growing these glands, right? We're looking to do the best we can. Like it's great to have the biomass for these glands, right? But we really need to focus on growing glands and terpene production, oils and all, versus our biomass. Like we need the biomass, but we need to really focus on that. And part of that is going to be having proper amount of sulfur there, so that these terpene chains can actually complete themselves by having that sulfur present. So there's a lot of that too. Um, so that's the other thing. I've seen people, like I've literally had a clone of something that I've had the weed, had the jar. They're like, oh my fucking god, yes. I give them the clone, the exact same shit I got, and like it's somebody like lives right down the fucking road, and he's growing in soil and all, but he's not growing exactly the way I'm doing, and he doesn't hit the mark. It's something close, but nowhere near it. Now he knows damn well like it is what it is, because he comes by the fucking spot once, twice a week. He's watching the fucking thing grow. He can smell it. He rubs the resin on his fingers and shit. But when he does it, he doesn't hit the mark. Doesn't hit that potential. So then I have to turn him on, like, well, this is what we're doing here. Um, we make some adjustments on his end, and then boom, success. So a lot of times I think people will have something and they'll actually be growing it, but they don't hit the point, and then they toss it. So I think that happens a lot of times too, man. So yeah. So yeah, you're right, man. This kind of a little bit of all that, my friend.
So I'm curious to know, as again, because the market, the world's friggin' fucking changing. Uh, where do you see yourself in the new world where uh, uh it could be nationwide, federal, everybody growing it. I mean, how would you feel, tomorrow, you know, in the perfect world again, uh, fucking a big company comes to you and says, "Hey, man, we need enough for fucking 1,000 fucking acres." You know, we want Screaming Eagle. How do you feel about that? And I guess my follow up question is, uh, do you think? I mean, as mom and dad make children, I would think that there would be just a slight, you know, variation, I guess, from batch to batch. You know what I mean? From
Absolutely.
uh, so how many times on a larger scale can you do that and then offer, you know, the originality of it all?
Well, in that perfect world, I would like to say, because once again, like, you know, people will, they'll take something out of context or misconstrue it. So if we're talking about dealing with, you guys or whatever, hey, that's one thing. But if you're talking like a big, huge agricultural company that's wanting to grow, 100 acres of whatever, um, one, you're gonna have to approach that differently, not just on the product you're gonna offer, but you're gonna have to cover your ass. So I'm gonna make sure my ass is covered and I'm not gonna get my shit stole. Um, I would like to think that by that point I would have something like that at least to probably like an F5 before I would probably just feminize that. Um, and be pretty consistent in that seed stock. So there's not going to be a lot of variance, and those would be the seeds that I would have them sow in their however many acres of that they're talking about.
So, and I guess kind of bring up something else. I guess we're thinking along the same lines of just quality, breeding, quality people producing. I've had this argument with a few people, not necessarily, I hate the word argument. I'm sorry about that. It was a terrible choice of words. I've had this discussion with a few people. And again, back to the same thing as what when I pull the money out of my my pocket and I'm purchasing seeds, what I'm looking for, you know what I mean? When
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying a pack of femmes, I want basically the dummy work to be done. I don't think there is a thing of basically phenol selection. You know what I mean? I think that
Yeah.
it should be done. I shouldn't be getting that. But I've heard from other breeders that they are pollinating several phenotypes. You know what I mean? It isn't just that in taking a clone, selfing it and letting it pollinate, all the clones they're offering, sisters in the mix as well, slight variations. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that ain't right. You know what I mean? That's not what that's not necessarily what I'm pulling my money out of. I want the pack.
Yeah.
I'm buying a
Exactly.
fem because I want that picture. Uh,
Yep. And I've had that same convo with some friends that, like, I got friends that, they're into their seed thing, but they don't sell them or really even give them out for that matter. They use them like in house and shit like that. Um and they also use them on like some larger scale, like outdoor shit. Um, and then I got friends that are breeders that have their seed companies and all too. Um, and that's the thing. Like, you got guys that are just like, hey, I'm just gonna S1 this clone. I'm gonna call it good. I've seen people do that to where like there isn't a lot of variation. Like it was pretty spot on just in that one step. But I don't see that happen very much. Like I see, you know, quite different actually. You know, a lot of it I see quite a bit of variation. So does that mean like, hey, should we take this to like S2, S3, right? Or should we have maybe, you know, say work something to an F3, right? Before we self it, or F4, F5? Should we cube it? Then so, you know, like should we really work this phenotype down first, then self it, you know? Or, you know, there's a few different ways to that end goal. Um maybe use two different routes, you know. You know, there's a lot of ways to do it. But yeah, if I'm gonna put something out there and people are gonna expect like consistency from that. And I know like if I was growing like a huge fucking crop of like them seed, like, you know, I'm gonna want that consistency. You know, I'm not gonna want it to be all over the place. You know, I need some consistency amongst that for the end goal of, you know, the product. Um, yeah, that work's gotta be done. But you know, once again, that's just kind of the name of the game out there. You know, some people are just gonna do that and just kind of roll with it. It is what it is. But in the end of the day, it's gonna fall on the consumer. You know, you got an educated consumer, you got an uneducated consumer. Uh, the uneducated, they grow enough, they yeah, they're gonna become educated pretty quickly. Um, so at the end of the day, it falls on that person, you know, because the guys out there making the seeds, they're gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, whether it's a lot of work or the opposite end of the spectrum and no work. It's really gonna fall on the consumer at the end of it, because without an uneducated consumer, um, the fly by nights, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. So the more educated the consumer is, the better off um, people will be as a whole. You know, the guys that are actually out there doing the work, or you know, things that get a little bit better that way. You know, but that's just the state of the state of the industry, community, whatever they're calling it nowadays.
Yeah, I definitely have. I said it before, and I said, yeah, nothing but respect for the people that have put in the work and that continue to put in the work for proper breeding to just, put out great stuff. You know, it's, I, I just, there's what, 3 to 5,000 strains right now. I've begged for the fact that, now with Phylos and the technology and everything, and again, I'm not so crazy about that. I kind of seen that shit coming. You know what I mean? It was sad to play out. It was like, oh man, I was hoping it didn't play out like that. But with that being said, I think it's time, instead of just piling chunk and throwing, clouding the market, fucking it all up, we should be taking the time to figure out what the fuck we got. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And kind of backtrack a little bit before we go to properly breeding with the future. You know what I mean? Why cloud it right now with just bullshit,
yeah,
bullshit, bullshit, just for a name and a buck? It's
yeah. And that's where, see, and that's where this whole thing of ours that we got here, that's where it really divides up, right? Between and we'll separate this, right, from growers like us, um, versus a big company that's growing for dispensary grows, whatever. Um, versus, and then you know you got that little segment. Then you got this market out there, right? And we have our genetics market, and then we have flower extract market out there. All right. So the education of consumer is huge, right? Um, I'll reach back around, touch back on that in a second. But you know, it one is going to kind of dictate the other. So at the end of the day, the guys that are trying to pump a store full, their end goal is just money. They don't give a fuck about who bred it. Um, they just care if it sells. The guy on the other end of it, and this isn't everybody, of course, but I mean, the sad fact is this is the majority. They don't care really who bred it, who even grew it. They just want to know, like, is that's the name of what I was looking for? Did it work? Right? Did it hit the spot? Did it do what I wanted it to do? That market's going to be driven primarily by hype and then followed up with an effect. So now this is where it gets fucked up. So for the longest time, everybody's like, oh yeah, 30% THC or better. I'm not touching anything else. So you got all this really good fucking weed going to the wayside over something that tests high, but doesn't necessarily have the effect as something that might test in THC lower, might be 25%. Shit, I got shit that's 13 and 16% that'll put your dick in the dirt. But people aren't educated on the very end user, right? So that's gonna dictate a certain drive. So with that drive, right? If the grower for that end user is like, well, all right, Chad and Brad that own this fucking huge grow in dispensary, we need more 30% shit. All right, well, let's go find more 30% shit. Okay, it looks pretty, it's got the numbers. That's what people want. So therefore, the guys that are going to be making seeds to supply that need are going to just be going just for that, so they're also gonna be throwing stuff to the wayside. Yeah, sure, they could be, breeding this or that, but no, they're gonna be breeding what they're breeding, just basically seeking the supply and demand. And it's all dictated by an uneducated end user, you know. So like that whole chain right there, um, from start to finish, and unfortunately that's the majority of it, and that's kind of where it's at now. After a few years of that, now I was just having this conversation with my buddy the other day, because like he loves all the old shit. Like when he's like smoking himself, like he's not smoking, what he has to grow the majority of to go to these stores, because he knows like it's kind of some bullshit. It's pretty and all, test high, but he's not getting the desired effect from it. So he's gonna go smoke some headband versus whatever dessert, whatever. Not saying it's awful weed or nothing, but it's not scratching that itch. So now he's saying like people in his area are actually becoming more educated. So now they're understanding like, hey, I've been kind of misled for some years now, just seeking out these high numbers, and now I'm being exposed to some other things that are lower numbers that are actually giving me the effect that I need, that also have an awesome smell and awesome flavor. Wow, okay. So people are starting to catch on. So now that's starting to change, they're not wanting all this hype shit that was previously just we need all we can get. But now they're not wanting it. So now he's going back to doing what he wanted to do, is like, grow a lot of fucking, headband and kim and these old hash plants and NL hybrids and stuff like that. Now that's what people are starting to want, so it it's starting to change now, which to me that's pretty cool. But it had to happen with the end user becoming educated, and like it's not all about a THC number. You know what I'm saying?
I 100% know what you're saying there. I'm a big advocate. I'd actually like to see at least the provisioning centers here in Michigan. Uh, when you go in, you have to actually take a video, 10-minute video, and to understand what terpenes are, what terpenes do what, and understand that it isn't about that, you know, THC, the high THC number. That's not what you're shopping for. Because around here they've actually taken away the old way, and that's when it it still stood a chance against the high THC number. When some people could actually grab that jar, one from the other. Mm, mm, oh, oh, oh. You didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
didn't give a shit. You went, wow, my body told me I want some of that. And people don't have that opportunity anymore because it's all, you know, and it's getting worse, my friend, walking around with like the fobs nowadays, like the iPhone experience. Oh, that looks pretty. Doop, 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 doop. You know what I mean? The people, don't understand, or I don't think will ever understand with that type of experience what it is they're smoking and what the effects are. I think that they should have to sit down and take a 10-minute, unless they just want to be an arrogant ass, and then they can sign a waiver. I don't give a shit. I want to pay top dollar. Numbers mean everything to me.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I mean?
know, like,
Other
if
than that, I think it's a must that they have to learn.
yeah, I think like, so if I was in if I was in the bud game, right? If I was growing flower extract for market or whatever. Um I think like if I struck a deal with the dispensary, um I would say I would print out a whole bunch of like a small pamphlet or whatever that just goes out. You buy a bag of my weed, it comes with a little thing. One, it's branding, but two, yeah, educate them. This is the entourage effect. This is what's happening. Little chart of the terpenes. This is what's a quick rundown on like this is kind of the effects that you're looking for, and then maybe give a list of like a menu on the back of it, like, all right, this is kind of what the offering is, at least for the season or whatever, and boom, 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 and kind of categorize them so that way they're educated and say, all right, well, I had this sativa hybrid that was fucking kick ass. I was working on the shit. I wasn't, having panic attacks or whatever, but I felt like I drank a pot of coffee and I'm just getting shit done. Um, that was really awesome. Okay, I am looking for something that's like good and relaxing to where I can, pass out at night. Okay, here's some of these Afghani hybrids that he's recommending here. So when they go back in, not only are they educated and like, these are what terpenes are, this is the entourage effect, this is how they kind of all work together, but you're also kind of helping like make a recommendation like, well, if you're looking to do this, here's one of mine that I can recommend and say, yeah, buy some of that, go smoke that and see what's up. And, they understand it's like, oh, well, it's 21% THC. Yeah, but, the level of myrcene in that motherfucker is off the fucking chart and, this, that, and the other. And, give it a shot. And before you know it, they're nodding out on their fucking couch, after they just ate two pieces or something.
So, how do you see the legal market actually changing things? What's your opinion on the future of legalization? Good, bad? You think it's why actually bottleneck the strains just because of the commercials, what they're offered? How do you think that's gonna affect everything here? uh, real soon, probably real soon.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, man, because like like it's good. Um, but people they gotta learn from the mistakes of people in the past. Um, you really gotta look at what you're voting for before you do it. You know, people just want to go all in. Oh yeah, legal weed, but they don't look at all the fine details. Um, so you really got to read into the shit before you go all in on it. Um, the federal government and me don't have best fucking relationship, and I really hate them, and I don't trust a fucking thing that they do. So on the state levels, when we've been seeing like recreational stuff, um, it always starts out pretty cool, and then you quickly just see the greed, the lobbyists come in, um, and they just fuck it up every fucking time. It's just so predictable now, and that's just how it goes. So I would like to see, um, when if it goes federally legal, of course, I'd like to see it just kind of be wide open, um, but I know it ain't. I guess I'd just like to see how restricted it's going to be. Um, if it's going to be one of those deals where you got to be some type of producer, they don't want you growing at home, or hey, maybe you can grow at home, or is just no telling with these assholes, man. I know like everything they do just seems fucking backwards. It doesn't make sense. Um, anything the federal government gets its hands on, it gets fucked up like a football bat, man. It's never good. So that people not going to prison for it, it's fucking awesome. Hopefully, this God, man. Hopefully they don't fuck it up too bad. But the way I see it, man, worst comes to worst, if the penalties for it aren't as harsh as it was before, if it is all fucked up, people are still going to do what they're going to do, regardless of what the government says. People are going to still grow. People are still going to smoke, and that's just how it is. I was, talking about that years ago with the Cali thing, and I was like, man, they're keeping all these guys out. They're just going to fucking keep on just rocking out, and y'all got to compete with that. People, oh yeah, a bunch of criminals and black market. Oh, they'll never last. Yeah, let's fast forward, and they're like, yeah, we're going out of business because these black market guys are fucking crushing us in quantity and quality. So what are we gonna do about that? So yeah, people still gonna do what they're gonna do, and that's the end of the day. That's what I'm about, man. People should be able to do what they want to do, and just hopefully, hopefully it ain't too fucked up. But if it is, hey man, I'm gonna be right there with y'all. And fuck them bastards. I'm still gonna keep doing me.
It's been kind of a weird phase here in Michigan, the whole cannabis thing. And I think that's the way I don't think I'm afraid of that's the way legalization is going to be. I've watched, as I said earlier, man, my progression with cannabis, the reasons I do what I do have changed greatly from day one. Uh, these days, it's more of, again, wanting to see the medical benefits come out of cannabis. And, uh, life has changed me quite a bit, man. I've lost a lot of friends, pharmaceutical drugs. I don't want to see people go down that path. I'd much rather see them smoke some weed, drugs in general. I'd rather see anybody smoke some weed, but I've seen the medical benefits in it. And that really changed my outlook on it. And not only that, well, it the medical thing changed my whole opinion of it. To be honest with you, I when I started growing, I found I did it for the wrong reasons. To be honest, with you. Anything else, it was the money. You know what I mean? It
I've
was
been
it
there with
was the
you back
money,
in the
money,
day.
and the money.
Yeah, yeah,
But as I went on, I felt right, you know what I mean, doing what I was doing. But later on, as you know, we fast forward and it was legal, and I seen the impact it had with other people medically. I realized that part of the medicine is actually growing, to be honest with
yeah,
you. The
yeah,
the therapeutic benefits of growing the plant is huge. I believe that's a huge part of the medicine, and that's going to be taken away with legality soon. You know, I
yeah,
feel once it goes from coast to coast, money's going to drive jerk it right out of the home grow. And again, part of the medical aspect is growing. Medical
yeah,
cannabis has it's so beneficial. And I didn't realize this until later on. It took a while for me to realize the actual weight. It wasn't the money or the other reasons why I was using it. The reason why I do it and I'm an advocate for it now, it's medical reasons.
absolutely.
Both growing aspect of it and the medical aspect of it. But
Yeah,
here in Michigan, I feel like as I've seen recreational go, it's almost like a pass that's been thrown. A beautiful pass. We're all like, yes, look at it go. And we're all like, yeah. Then then legal weed came in and it's like it was just it blew right by the fucking receiver. It's like,
yeah,
oh, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's all the whole reason for it's getting fucked up, man. And I
yeah,
what I watched here in Michigan is like the people that had medical cards that were fighting for it dwindle. Don't need it anymore. Don't need that card, whatever. And what that
yeah,
does, and what I've told a lot of people is numbers. We need those numbers for to fund research, to find out
absolutely.
why these terpenes are fucking affecting us and why these things help us out. Recreational numbers, they didn't even give two shits about that. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
It's going to
That's
be the
right.
medical aspect of it all,
Yeah,
and I don't know.
I'm with you,
I don't,
dude.
is there, do you think that we can do it with, without squashing the dream, keep it right?
Yeah,
Keep
like,
people from going jail, but I don't know. I'm sorry.
and
Go
it's
ahead.
it's like it's a weird thing, man. So when I was out here, Colorado, when I first got here, I I wanted to like do the legit thing and all that stuff. And then I was told that I couldn't do any of it because I had a drug felony. And I was like, drug felony? I was like, nah, y'all got it fucked up. Yeah, caught growing weed. And like, oh yeah, well that's drug felony. You can't grow weed here. And I was like, what? What the fuck? They was like, yeah, it would be like, forgot what they told me. I think it's like 10 years I had to wait or something before I could fill something out and be considered. And they said, well, if it was a different crime, you could be considered after like 3 years or something. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, drug crimes you can't, but other stuff you're good. I was like, so you telling me a fucking child molester or something like that could be a fucking badged up drug grower and I can't? And they're like, yeah. So I got pretty pissed off. I was like, all right, that's cool. So I just fucking rock out, right? Just fuck it, I was mad, and I was like, I'm gonna do my thing one way or another. So I ended up I meet up with these group of moms. They're kind of like I don't know, soccer mom types, and they have autistic children. They've moved here from shit, man, all over the country. Some of them are from here, and they needed help. So I was like, man, that they need my help, man. So that's my jam. I'm working with them now. So while I was doing the seed thing pays the bills. Therefore, I can grow all this weed and then I can give it to them for free. And I'm not just like, oh yeah, here's this bunch of weed, good luck. I was actually like keeping track. Like we'd have like these dinners, would take them all out to dinner, them and the kids, and they would bring me like, just tell them to, write notes down and give them to me, and that way I could sit down at the shop and actually look like what's working for who, what's doing what. And actually, man, like after shit that first year, man, I had some real good shit narrowed down and was just making some breakthroughs with them. The problem was with it seemed like every 6 months, man, the fucking rec market, they kept blaming all their downfalls and they can't do this or make money because this medical market's just fucking them and illegal grows, and they're just blaming us. Like, no, you fucking idiots can't fucking grow goddamn good weed. You're growing shit and it's not worth as much money, and your weed's so shitty you have to fucking just blast it all and make vape carts. Like, you're doing this to yourselves. But they're fucking putting these lobbyists in. And there's some fucking some big companies and like people that I knew that worked at these places. And um there's some pretty political people I knew here, and they're telling me like, yeah, these people from this place, yeah, that's who's trying to, restrict your medical and everything. And those soccer moms are the ones that forced me to go with shit. Um, they got cards for me and made me do the whole thing. But if it meant helping them out and doing it safely and all that, I was all for it. But watching them just chop away at this medical thing, um, over the sake of money, I mean, it fucking I'm still pissed to this day, man. Um, and that's a big thing that we're having to fight. It's literally being fought from within. It's not really the political people so much as it is the people from within, the greedy fucks that literally fight from within, lobbying to these politicians, getting them to start, chopping away at it and eventually completely kill off medical. And it's fucking sad. And yeah, that's just kind of how it goes, man. It's shitty.
Super shit. You just echoed fucking what's going on basically here in Michigan. Uh, you know, same sentiment, a little different story here right now. And this is the part that really pisses me off, about the medical versus recreational bullshit. Lately, we, of course, what was it, 2 3 years ago, we fucking said, okay, yeah, now you can recreational, everybody can grow fucking 12 plants. And then fast forward to this year, everybody's growing 12 plants. You know what I mean? Everybody's growing 12 plants. Every grandmother, fucking uncle, cousin, you know what I mean? People don't even smoke. You know what I mean? Hey, uncle, granny, can I drop 12 plants in your yard? Because you can. I'll take care of them. It's happening everywhere. But right now they're trying to take the caregivers out of the market because it's us flooding the black market and it is fucking up the whole system. Well, this is the fuck of it out. That recreational 12 plant grower can grow like, and again, we'll exaggerate the fucking numbers just for fun's sake, just because they do. They do. You know what I'm saying? You can grow those 12 plants. You can grow, let's say you produce 50 pounds worth of 12 plants. Recreational, you're cool. Put that in the closet. You grew that, it's recreational. Smoke yourself silly, party on, stoner. It's cool. Me as a caregiver now, I'm only allowed to have 15 ounces of usable cannabis. And that's me taking care of 5 patients plus my fucking self. But I'm flooding the fucking market. You know what I mean? Huh? Does that make sense?
So,
No.
yeah, I mean,
No.
if
That's
you look at it their way, it makes all the sense because, fuck you. Like, you're not buying weed from them, so fuck you.
man, it's just man, it's so stupid. It's but yeah, take out the caregiver. You know,
Oh
it's
yeah.
it oh, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully
Have y'all
someday
gotten
we'll
the
figure out
billboards,
a 50-50.
put up where they big companies are paying like the billboard saying to go snitch on the fucking neighbors and the home growers and report the illegal grows and
Oh,
shit.
no, thank goodness, not yet. Thank goodness, not yet. But the ones that I do see that are pretty comical they're like cannabis signs that are like talking about it being locked up. Make sure your cannabis is locked up. But then it's all guns and alcohol and nothing else. But make sure that cannabis, that damn cannabis is locked up.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Fuck.
So hopefully, so with that being said, I guess the original question: do you plan on just staying to the quality breeder side, producing, some good quality strains, and maybe steering towards the smaller side? And there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with being a humble. You know what I mean? The humble
yeah,
side of cannabis.
yeah. I think I kind of liked where I was at, man. You know, uh, if it ever got bigger, I mean, that's cool too. You know, you can't really control that. If it does, like, I, that's all right. But I'm not really. My goal was never to be the biggest. You know what I mean? I just kind of wanted to do some cool shit that I liked and friends liked and the patients liked, and figured other people would like it as well. And turns out they did. And yeah, just keep doing it. You know. Um, yeah. One day, like, I just if I could ever like grow my own, like to have like in my own little small store, something like that, that'd be cool. But a guy like me, man, fucking 2-time fucking loser. I don't know, man. Fucking they don't like guys like me having weed stores and rec grows and shit like that. I'd really, it'd be cool to do because I'm breeding my own, growing my own, having it for sale, So uh, I don't know. They probably never let me do anything like that. So I'll probably just keep doing what I'm doing. No, I'm cool with that too. It's fine.
You know, 2-time loser. As soon as you said that, man, I said the fucking free Duke Diamond fucking shirt fucking flashed in my head. It's two very different contradicting statements there, man. You can check the first one off the list, but the 2-time loser thing, I don't think that's not a thing, man. I think it's perspective, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
I
this
don't
old
see that, man. I
slang.
see one hell of a dude that fucking doing what he loves and fucking there ain't nothing wrong
Oh,
with that.
for
That's
sure.
that's a
Yeah,
winner in my book, brother.
yeah,
We
for
all
sure.
stumble and fall, man, but that ain't
Oh yeah, like
it's
I ain't no
fuck
loser
that
for sure.
loser aspect of it, man.
That's just
You're a
old
fucking
slang.
hell with yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Uh,
old slang for you call it two felonies or two F's. That's just what they call it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I ain't no loser, man. I'm a winner. I just got two X's on me. That's all.
that's one of the things I think that's what everybody respects about you, brother, is the quality breeding that you've done, and the fucking down to earth, cool motherfucker that you are. You know what I mean? That's what everybody respects, in my opinion, about you, man. I hope you don't.
Yeah, man. That's the thing is I've lived I have lived life. I have definitely not pitter pattered around it. Um, I've gone at it at its fullest, nonstop. And unfortunately, when you live hard headed and you live in full like that, sometimes shit happens. My old friend Kevin used to say it all the time. Shit happens, especially when you eat regular. And man, I was getting it. So, but on the other token, yeah, I have lived life, man. I've had a lot of fun doing it too, So I don't think I'd change a thing really.
I can appreciate that. I definitely can appreciate that. As I get older, I've said this too. As I get older, I appreciate the legality side of cannabis. I'm grateful for the state that I'm in, the opportunity that I have to be able to grow the plant and have somewhat of comfort to be able to sleep at night, knowing that, the local government isn't going to kick my door in because I'm growing. I had that legal part of it. But as a young man, as somebody that's done this, I definitely legality killed the outlaw aspect of it. And I kind of missed the outlaw aspect of it because it was fun. You know what I mean?
It's the adrenaline rush, it's that you're fucking the man. And there's something to be said about fucking the man, like there's a good feeling. Like every day I'm locked up, that was my goal. It was like I'm gonna fuck the man over in one regard or another today. The time is not gonna do me, right? I'm doing this fucking time. I'm gonna make the most of it still. And I will fuck the man over at some point during this day, if not multiple times. And I always like that. And that's just that mindset, I guess, and unfortunately, like that's a mindset, like, now that I'm out, I, I'm still go, still be the same old dude, but I, yeah, I gotta kind of hang those spurs up, man. More packing pistols and being too wild. I need to settle down. I'm getting old. And let these young bucks do it.
It's definitely a different day, Heck, even with the legality of, I've been had people in the car with me while I'm carrying my legal 15 and they're sweating it. And again, I think back to the day and I'm like, this isn't, you know, I don't even think twice about throwing this in the fucking front seat locked up anymore. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
they only knew. It's, I
Hmm. Yep. I know
all I
what you
can
mean.
say is I'm glad I lived it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just
Yeah.
some things that you can't take back. There are opportunities that the kids today won't have, and that's one of them.
Yeah, man. But you know what? I figure it like this. Like they may not have got those jollies and those thrills like that. But on the other note, they don't have to worry about being in the penitentiary and they ain't got to worry about no riots and stabbing shit, fighting and horrible food and fucking miserable ass shit like that. So, that's good, so and things progress faster too, with it being legal, Like I mean, for fuck's sake, you got your face on the internet with obviously like the grow is like obviously right fucking behind you. There are definitely plants in view, and it's okay. Like you said, even bat an eye at it. It's fine. It's all right. Um, that's pretty fucking cool. And the fact that I can come on here and we can talk about all this shit and not worry about, something bad happening to us. Hey, that's fucking cool. Those little young bucks, they're able to, learn from our mistakes and any any knowledge we're kicking kicking to them, that saves them a lot of time, and then they can progress things even, even more and even faster. So when me and you are, in an old folks home, fucking chasing around the couple marbles we got left, we'll probably be smoking pretty fucking good for real.
Oh, for sure, man. When the people the home growers, anybody that's starting to grow today has the resources they have today. It's incredible. I'm already, I'm not even afraid to admit that, I've learned quite a bit from some of these new growers that's picked it up and had, the knowledge to put shit together and represent it or whatever. It's a good day and age for cannabis. It really
Yeah.
is. And I'm
Yeah,
proud to have a
I would
small
agree.
place.
Hell yeah. So
So how we doing? How we doing on time, Mr. Duke? I'm grateful, but I don't want to push it.
yeah, we'll go
I'd like to
about
have this opportunity again.
it's 12:41. This is right. We'll ride it out till 1 o'clock. And then I'll turn into a fucking pumpkin on you.
Yeah, again, man, I've been looking forward to this opportunity for quite a while, and as soon as I seen that it was a possibility, I hit you up, and I'm so grateful that you were able to take the time to do this, because I do have time. Like, as I have respect for other people that have done this, I've got tons of respect for the people that breed the cannabis, not just now, but back then, and took the risk to help give us what we've got today. And what you're one of those folks. So I greatly appreciate, the time you put in, the time, in jail, all that shit, man. You're definitely, in my opinion, a pioneer, a legend in the cannabis industry. So again, thank you, brother, for everything you've done and will do.
Man, I appreciate it, man, and my pleasure. Like, back then it's like those genetics were fucking everything. So it was like said all those sacrifices or whatever to make sure that they live on. Yeah, totally worth it. So yeah, man. If everybody does their part, you know, uh, we can all do great things. It just like I said, those sacrifices come into play sometimes. There's um I like poetry, man. I really do. Like all types of different shit. But uh Charles Bukowski, man, he's a real good one, more of a modern day one. But he had a poem that was real good. It was all the way, go all the way. Um, that's a real good one, about going after what you want, sacrificing, and making shit happen. So anybody out there who likes poetry, definitely definitely give that one a read or a listen. They even got that shit YouTube books on tape or whatever the fuck you want to call it. People reciting it.
Audible. I listen to fucking shit ton of Audible.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man.
Well,
So
you got a
so you got people watching
few
this
things.
live, right?
Fuck yeah, there's 124 people watching right now.
Oh,
244 Michigan time here. I think we peaked out at a little over, I think 150, 155 at one point. And thank you, man. Holy shit. I looked at my Instagram earlier today, and I says, I think this guest might get me fucking banned off of Instagram. She's like, what do you mean? I said he reposted that he's gonna be on the show. I think I picked up almost like 100 followers in like fucking like a half hour, 2 hours tops. I was like, holy shit, they're gonna fucking shadow ban me my ass because of this shit.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
You know how they do.
people, yeah, there's definitely a live chat. They have said nothing but cool shit about you and thanking you for taking the time to hang out with us, man. It's not just, it's epic for me, and it's obviously epic for them too, man. It's, this is, we hear a lot about, we see pictures, but to, actually hear the one-on-one straight out of their mouth, no interruptions. People love that shit. I love this shit, man. I actually, I'm surprised I didn't fucking, I actually made it so it wasn't like gallery view. You could see us side by side, because especially with not being able to see you, man. I know I've been fanboying it fucking all night long and shit. Usually I would have, anybody else, I would have probably turned my camera off and did this just straight audio. But for some reason, I left my camera on.
It's
But fuck
fine,
yeah,
man.
people are definitely digging this, man. This is fucking awesome, man. Oh yeah, they're digging this shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I like it.
real quick, and again, to address chat, Lucky Mike would like to know, what was your favorite cross that you made?
Ooh.
That's a hard one. It's like singling out a kid.
Well, excuse me. Hmm. I don't know. That's that one. I'll say I'm gonna rattle off a few because they're a favorite for a particular reason. Um, the Screaming Eagle, there's a lot of love in that, and just for the effects and the medicinal properties of it, the amount of people it was able to help, myself included. That was a big one. Um, the local skunk, that one's a good one, just for the pure funk of it all. Um, the sangria, that was my favorite fruity thing ever. My purple dahlia, it's probably my favorite of the colorful, grape candy gnarliness. Um, and just goddamn, man, that's the thing, is like anytime, like where I continue the project on and was like, hey, I want to offer this to you. That the reason why it was there is like it became like a favorite, you know what I mean? And not, I can't have this just one, you know. The only thing I can do with that in life is just, my lady. You know what I mean? As far as the plants go, man, fuck, they all had their own unique thing to them. So like when it really spoke to me and it hit those marks for me, that was it. I had to put it out there. So anything that got put out there, it was near and dear to me. So yeah, they all had their own things. You know that yeah, we could I could go into all the whys and the whats on reason why the males are made the way that they were made over long periods of times and what they hit and everything, but I have to save that one for another show. That's would be up all fucking night. Fucking Sunday coming up. Talking about going to Waffle House and shit.
Well, I do appreciate you fucking, man. I hope there is another episode. And since we're kind of like throwing that out there, I want to tell you, I don't know if you looked over the channel or the Instagram or tried to figure out what the fuck you were getting yourself into before you came on, but there's a few different things that happen here. on the channel. And one is the spotlight, like me and you done tonight, fucking talking shit with me episodes. And the other aspect is like kind of a group show. Uh, it's now it's evolved. It started out as the rabbit hole, and then we turned it to the wormhole. It organically changed to the wormhole, and then this year on Sub's birthday, second anniversary, on his birthday. For last year, the first year on his birthday or after his passing, we did like a grow along. I gave away Agent Orange and jelly bean and sangria, and just kind of did it grow along. And then this year on his birthday, I changed the wormhole to Weed Nerd World in honor of him and in the community. He may have passed, but there's so many of us that are still weed nerds. What he did is much of what we're doing tonight, man. It's just hanging out and them coming, hanging out and chat, talking shit. And there's a lot of us, so it was a due process, and I hope that I haven't pissed anybody else off in the process, and I hope I'm doing him proud.
Yeah,
But
man.
what I'm getting to, my friend, is now that you've done the fucking talking shit episode, the weed nerd world aspect of it is open to all past guests and only past guests. So the Zoom link that I sent you tonight is the Zoom link for the weed nerd world. So anytime like you're just hanging out, can't sleep, just want to fucking hang out with a bunch of stoners talking gross shit. Sometimes we talk psychedelics, we talk a lot of crazy shit. We talk life, whatever. You know what I mean? Want to just come hang out? No reason to hang out. You don't need an invitation. Just grab that link, hit the button. I'll fucking, a lot of times I don't even know who I'm okaying. You know what I mean? During that episode, I'm like, come on, come on. So it's ever changing. So hopefully some night you take me up and hang out. Monday nights is a guaranteed weed nerd world. You know what I mean? There's no fucking talking shit that night. It's definitely weed nerd world. The other times you'll find a weed nerd world is I told you the time slot of the show is usually 11:30 to 4:20. So we don't go the whole mark tonight. There's a good chance that after we end this episode, that I'll fire up the weed nerd world and let them guys finish out the time slot. Talking about whatever. But understand anytime you see that in the title, if you subscribe to the channel and you see the weed nerd world, other than doing another one-on-one, I'm not discouraging that, brother. I'd love to do another just me and you episode. But if you want to make another, pop on, fucking make another, cool bunch of people. I know I'm not the only one that would like to go, hey, and I fucking hung out with Dude Diamond tonight, smoking and talking shit. So, at any point, you could make a bunch of people's evening stay, whatever. But you're always welcome. Hopefully, you keep that opportunity out there, available.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's that all sounds real good, man. Fucking yeah, it's just cool. Like you continuing on like the whole crew of dudes from sub cool stuff. Like I knew that dude fucking long fucking time. And somehow like in my head, like I don't know, like he sent me a text. It was like a day, maybe 2 days before he passed or whatever, but somehow, man, like I still don't like believe it in my head. Like I picture him right now, like me and my other buddy that knew him well. Like when you talk about Agent Orange, it's like you just mentioned that. It takes me back to like 2006, fucking Oregon, at his house hanging out. And staying over at my buddy Ben's place in Portland. And that first run of that Agent Orange, like right when they made it. I got the fucking whiskey sour pheno. Then I got the other pheno from him. Had some 3D, which was like an Apollo hybrid, some other stuff. But I remember I woke up and like I'm staying on this fucking couch in my buddy Ben's place. And like we're over in like a real shitty part of Portland, which is like the nice part of Richmond, Virginia. But nonetheless, wake up and sit out on the porch. And so I can smoke this fucking little small joint and I rolled up with that fucking agent. And man, fucking world just fucking lit up. And I ended up walking across town to a fucking Carl's Jr. to get a chicken biscuit. And remember hitting him up and telling he's like, oh man, because he lived kind of rural, you know. He's fucking dying for a chicken biscuit because he's from the south and shit too. So yeah, like somehow in my head, like I like to think that maybe he was just like, you know what, I think I'm good. And he's just cruising around that RV somewhere, just fucking having a good old fucking time. Man, fucking cool dude. Used to go see him and when he was living up in Santa Rosa, and we used to meet at this little pizza restaurant. It's like Home Run. I think it's called Home Run Pizza. But they had this beer that he liked there. It's called Racer 5. And I don't advocate, drinking or driving or any of that, but do that and then we'd fucking race back to his house in our fucking trucks and shit. Yeah, he's a wild dude too, man. Yeah, I miss that guy. Fuck.
I do too, man. It's funny that you say that because I said the same thing when he died. I called. Tried to get a hold of him for the fucking many times that first week, just in denial. I actually said, man, I really want to believe he like Tupac us or fucking
Yeah.
Elvis us, And I think what led me to want to believe that so bad is because that like year before he died there, releasing his real name and shit. I begged him not to. I said, man, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I understand why you want to do it, but don't do it. There might come a day where you may want to walk away. You know what I mean? Just fucking say,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it no more. And you'll have that, that way. But if you do it, if you release that name, it'll never be the same. And,
Yeah.
so I guess I wanted to believe he did it. I wanted to believe he just kind of Elvis us.
Yeah.
But again, he's still in the same aspect. We're still here talking about him.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Hopefully they'll live on a good long
Yeah,
time.
man. Yeah, that's the thing. You live on through your what you leave behind, the seeds you left
That
behind.
cat had nothing but good shit to say about you, brother. He was definitely a fan of Dude Diamond.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Well, with that being said, we're 2:58. You said you'd take me till 3. One last thing I'd like to get from you, my friend, and that's a stupid thing that I do is a sound bite. Basically, at some point, I'll use it for a commercial to kind of, make people remember this episode and make them go back and watch. But it's like that old school radio artist identification type shit. Basically, what I'm looking for, you do whatever you want before or after is, hey, my version. Hey, this is Eagle. I'm on fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 546. Again, you say whatever you want before or after, as long as you at least say that, I'd be forever grateful. I am ready anytime you are.
All right. Well, I guess if I had to say anything, fucking Duke Diamond here, and I'm fucking talking shit with fucking Eagle. Fucking tune into the fucking show, man. What you missing out?
Oh, yeah. Man, I can't thank you enough. Time is so valuable, as we kind of talked about. and I can't replace tonight or repay you for these hours. But I can tell you this, man, it's been an epic night and that I will remember forever. Thank goodness YouTube will document it for me. And again, man, I hope that some night you'll surprise us and pop in and we nerd world unannounced. But other than that, I hope to talk with you again soon in another follow-up episode. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me on, my dude. And yeah, of course, it's stay in touch, hit me up, man. And anytime you want to have me on, just shoot me a message, and I'll be in there like swimwear, my man.
Thank you, my friend. I greatly appreciate you. For the rest of you guys, you know the deal. Random acts kind of do save lives. Don't be afraid to do something nice for somebody. Give me a few minutes, stretch my legs, relieve my bladder, and I will see you guys in We Nerd World. Thanks again, Duke. Man, I greatly appreciate you, my friend. Have a good night, and we'll
You
talk
too,
soon.
Yeah, man. I'll see you
Bye.
later, my friend. Have a good night, man. And remember, don't take a piss. Leave it.